704 Town of Granby Conservation Commission. Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019, 7:04. We will start with the Building and Board of Health applications. Who's here for building permits? I'm guessing you're here for a second?
Yeah, we've got...
Patty, why don't you sit here? Sit in my seat. You can run the meeting.
Looks like you already started.
We just started.
I'll recuse myself. Is that okay? You guys...
Oh, okay.
You guys, I'll recuse myself.
Yeah, we have your plan.
Yeah, that's
It's very nice.
property I've been working on since the 90s, so it goes back a few years.
Oh, okay. Is this Amherst? All right. Where are we now?
We just opened Building and Board of Health permits.
Fantabulous. And we got Mr. Brooks, front and center.
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
I'm here with Jerry Archambault.
Yep.
Two things. You're looking for a signature on a building permit for his garage.
Okay.
And we have a picture for you.
And you did my line. You got my lines. I did see it, so.
So you and Amanda went out?
No, Linda and I went.
Okay.
So how far are we, do we measure?
Yeah.
Okay, so there it is.
See, this is a new location.
Patty,
Okay.
why don't you refresh everybody on your findings from the site visit?
The trick is it's been developed significantly. So what we did observe were a lot of logging path and a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of pre-existing debris. And so when I walked the property, because it's been so wet, it's significant, like it's moved in further here where you could see it, and you could, if you looked up one line, I took photos, you could literally see where the water moves in channels. So, but what was interesting is that the contour, like if you see this is because of, believe it or not, man-made logging. Like you can see where the water's actually been diverted. So and you could see like they got the railroad ties, and I mean it's an interesting, because a lot of this reason like here is because you could see the ties and this old like pathway that basically created this inlet.
It's old logging stuff.
Like we're talking like,
yeah, I don't know, 40 years ago.
it's really old because all of the decomposition is in there, the layering's all in there. It's just an interest. It was an interesting, like, I could easily see what, you know. I was like, oh, it was.
And initially, Mr. Archambault was wanting to put a garage over
here.
I was trying to figure out where it is.
Right. It was here
What's
originally.
Yeah, you're right there.
Originally it was here.
Yeah.
And then what was really great is that the new road he put in is actually further away. So the plan is to move, all of his plans are actually moving naturally away. And they're not like, this road's further away, so the new road he's actually using, this was here, and he wanted it originally here. And if he moves it there.
Patty, could you help Amanda?
What's the address or something?
239.
Okay. Amherst?
Amherst Street.
Okay.
But yeah, if you put it there, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and the reality of this road's further away, this is left alone. He has the standing wood piles, which is totally allowable. And we just want to make sure that, you know, it was done. But you can see how the man-made structures are that added to it. Because originally, it probably was over here. Because you could see the trough.
And if you could try Google Earth, please, that would be great.
So
what we did, this is the area.
Oh, Google Earth's about to pop up.
right in that little tail. Oh, it's still being. Yep.
This is out front of Amherst.
Yep.
And what they've done is they've created a estate lot. They're selling, Jerry's selling this house here, carved it out, and this goes back to this back 35 acres, something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Amanda, does Google Earth open?
Yeah, I just was trying to leave that open. Sorry, you said 239?
But that would work totally, like putting it right there is fine.
Yeah.
totally. I honestly, that location, I know all that's up, it's all up.
Yeah.
There's nothing over there at all. That leaves this area alone. I mean, that would
So
be great.
this is for the garage.
Yep. I actually, if this is where you're putting it,
Yep.
I have no problem with this location, because I've been to the site. That's actually,
Okay, that's good, that's a good one.
yep.
So Kev, come over here, please. Here's the April 2016.
Okay.
Well, it looks like this is the wetland right in here. That's what it got.
Yeah.
So the little tongue's right here.
Yeah. You got, well, you can almost see the roads.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah,
And in fact, one of the stumps that was in the wetland,
I pulled them all out.
pulled them
Yeah.
off.
Once you told me to pull
that's
out.
fine. Everything else, if he was to disturb everything that was there previously prior to when he purchased it, it would be too much disruption, in my opinion, to the wetland. Because the layering is like,
One of the stumps that he pulled out was completely deteriorated.
well, I don't think all of those stumps, not all the debris that's in there was, it looks like it's significantly old. And I know aged wood when I see it, and because there's enough debris and detritus and other things underneath it where you could see that it clearly settled. So as long as there's nothing else going on, continuing forward, and let it be. Because most of the reason the contours are there is because of the roading. You can see the roads, you can walk on them.
Okay, so where does Jerry want to put his?
Way up here. That's up on
Did you
the,
move it, or is?
yeah, it was originally
It was
proposed to
over
go
here.
here.
Okay.
And it was too close to this one spot right here. And if it's moved all the way there, then it's total, and it's uphill, like there isn't,
It's 191 feet.
Yeah, okay, who's going to verify the location in the field?
well, I know the I mean, I can, if he flags for me and I see it,
That's why.
then I could just look, but I can verify, because if he's moving there, I know enough about the
Okay,
contours,
okay.
because he had other equipment originally stored up on this hillside. So all he basically did, or will be doing, is just moving equipment storage and putting a garage there. So everything's up there. My son.
Amanda, what do you think?
If you want to look. Because this was all wet, like down in through here.
Yeah.
And that was exactly
I
where it
mean, I
was,
trust
so.
your judgment. You seem pretty confident about it.
Well, I mean, in terms of placement, that's logical placement.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it over here. It's too close to the other.
Is it at a higher elevation?
It is a higher, it goes up.
Okay, okay.
It's a higher elevation.
So it's not prone to flooding or anything?
No, the trick was, is if you put anything here, it would be prone to flooding.
Okay,
And this roadway is not where he's actually gonna be officially staying.
okay.
It's actually over here. And I have no problem with that, because that's,
We're approximately 10 feet higher here than,
Okay. Kev, is this a revised plan set?
yeah,
yeah.
Okay, does it have a new date on it?
no.
Because what you want to do is make sure that you're using the proper plan when you build the garage. So you're going to kind of reference this plan.
I can make a
You know
note.
what you could do? Take a picture of this plan, take a picture of that with your iPhone.
Okay,
Well, just have it documented.
I can leave you a copy.
Okay.
okay, that's fine.
Better, yeah.
But yeah, this is a better solution, a much better solution, because this is too much, I think is it ledge up here, I think?
Yeah, it's all ledge.
It's ledge here, and up here it looked like it was contoured because he was storing wood right around here. So there's some wood storage, and I'm trying to think of what was over, there was wood storage here, there was some other storage over on this side, but there was nowhere to put a structure on this end.
Okay.
And literally, when you go up this hill, it's steep. Like, it goes like,
50 feet
Yeah,
higher.
it's
Well,
significant, like, so it's significantly up.
It's marked on one of the plans.
So it's,
Not this one, but
so it appears like it's really close,
Oh.
but the species and the terrain changes dramatically, so that when I walked up it,
There's the elevation.
yeah, so the elevations go up quite significantly up here,
318,
Okay.
so it's 18 feet higher.
18 feet
Okay.
higher.
So when you write up the approval, just put new note location of garage or revised location.
Okay,
So
so-
we want to confuse it with the old location.
So let's see.
This is 10 feet higher.
Yeah,
right
so it's
there,
10
12 feet higher.
12 feet higher. Because the elevation's enough to be not only noticeable, but you can see the change in the species. Like, you know me, I'm not the super wetlands expert, and I'm the one, I'm like, oh, this is not bad at all. And then he had some slash that he was doing for clearing the road, he's gonna take out and burn anyway, which is allowable, because he's just gonna cut it and burn it. So that's
In
not,
fact, he's burning it right now.
so, we're all burning.
No
so-
heat.
So,
Okay.
so is this, which one am I we're supposed to sign?
Well, this is the house, I'm trying
That's-
to do both at once. So the house and then the garage. I
Okay,
got
this
two
is the
permit
garage.
That's the
applications.
garage.
Yep, that's the garage.
Okay,
You better make a note.
And the garage is within buffer and the house is outside of everything?
Location.
House is outside of everything.
right.
That's
so
what I thought.
I'm
The
going
garage
to,
is outside everything too.
Okay, it's just within,
so.
close to buffer or something?
No, it's 191 feet from the wetland.
When we started, it was close.
Yeah,
and then
we
I
started,
pulled it out.
It was real, but the trick was, is if you looked at the original, like, this area is.
Yeah, I thought I was 100 feet away.
Yeah, because he's thinking of the original contours and the new contours because of the road. It wasn't, it was obvious for
I mean,
me.
it's pretty obvious that this was wet.
Well, everything's wet.
We even dug in the concrete and look at the soil.
Yeah, but the fill there is significantly aged. That's a Granby special property. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna say garage is at new location, which is 191 feet from BW, that's not a B, it's like a U. And so we're looking at, so it's in northwest corner.
Yeah.
So it's in,
This is the corner we took the measurements. It's
Okay.
the west and the north.
all right. And that's PK, because I'm signing off on that, and that was the plan. Where's the date on this?
There?
5/29/18. And we can put another date on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tonight.
Yeah,
from-
Wednesday's fine.
5/29/18, and then
Revised.
at revised, and your revision was today's date, so it says 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay, there's my brain started. 22nd, 19. Got it.
Okay.
So I put it there, which means
Yes,
I
he's
have,
gonna sign
I have, do we have a motion to approve the building permit with, in the minutes with changes? And the garage being 191, make sure 191 feet from the wetlands.
So moved.
191.
191.
I moved it to 91 instead of
Yep,
just
thank you.
90.
And so do we have a second? All in favor, we're just gonna smoke.
Aye.
All right.
We have quorum, even
Very
though,
good,
yeah,
yes.
okay. All right, so this
Very
is good. And then now we have the building permit,
The house.
and does it have the same sign off sheet?
It does. She's there.
Ah.
There.
Ah. All right, and so this one is significantly upland.
This is yeah, the Board of Health signed off on all of this.
There's, I don't think, I think we just need to sign as is, it's not even anywhere in it.
Yeah.
It's not in our, that's not in jurisdiction at all.
But just note, septic design plan, and put down the date of the design plan.
Okay,
They
so,
signed off
Yeah.
8/8/18.
okay, so septic, well, actually, I don't think I have to sign off there for septic, do I, on this? Because they signed there. This is a
Well, no,
septic
but
permit.
Yeah, but you gotta reference this plan. You
Okay.
gotta reference this plan. You know, right now, we know what we're talking about, but 3 years down the road, you're
Reference for the
not, you're gonna be
septic.
scratching your head.
Septic plan
It's a drawing number.
on 8/8/18.
Reference the drawing number.
and the
that
drawing
Jerry's
number
bringing forward,
is-
Yes, and that's Cold Spring Environmental.
They are solid. 11855510704. So I have that one for this is septic, and then, do we have to, they're included
This is
together?
the same thing.
Same
This
plan,
is the
okay.
big plot plan, that's the design.
Okay, not my area, you can tell. All right, so I have it here. Do we have a motion to approve it, because it isn't in our jurisdiction?
Yep, so moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. All right, I'm gonna sign this one, and I did put that in there. And that's fine, and that's fine, and I'll pass it that
Very
way.
good.
Fantabulous. And we're good.
So do you need the copies?
I don't think we need copies, because we didn't have to do any documentation of RDAs or anything else, or any NF. But you're now officially good. Hey, that wasn't too bad.
We're gonna send this to Amanda, too.
Yep. And that you can,
Sign this also.
there you go, pass
Oh, you were
that.
gonna keep that for record?
For the record?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Is
well,
there a file?
there should be a Kathy file for this day, so we have it. All right, so we have that and we're good.
So both are signed.
Both are signed.
Good.
You're good.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome,
Thank you.
and I hope you
Good
get it built before the other one sells.
Yes.
Happy building in the cold. It's brutal. All right, you're gonna come, all right.
Are you?
You're back on? Fantabulous.
Want to run it?
No, I'm good. I'm working all day, I'm tired.
Continue on with the building permits. Anyone else here for a building permit? Hearing none. It's 7:20. We have about 10 minutes till the public hearings and appointments. So let's go on to our administrative duties. Commentary?
Oh, I have a note that we observed one of the Andrix.
Very good.
We did.
Oh, good, wonderful.
You know, so my only commentary would be, we observed the new development in the new area. They're in process for putting all of the silt, you know, the catchways. You can tell that they've been working on it because all the rocks are in process. And even as wet as it was, we drove the original one, everything was holding all the water. With everything going on, all of their designs were holding with all the amount of water they had there, which was amazing. They were impressed that they were holding.
Working well?
They were working well.
Good, good.
So you could see all the sediment, like all the catch basins. You could see the barriers were holding. There was no anything. We were impressed. I was like, wow, with everything moisture, we complimented them on the fact that it looks real clean for a really wet area.
Very good.
One other item, Ed, I heard the positive from Mr. Martin about hiring an assistant.
Assistant?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Very good. Any other commentary? Post next meeting? Do you have a date on that?
Wanna be,
Do you have a list for?
I don't have the list. Check our publishers.
I think it's right here.
The 5th?
February 12th.
Oh, the 12th.
February 12th. So, post the next meeting, February 12th for 7 o'clock. Same location, 1 Library Lane, Carnegie Building. All set on that?
Yep.
Minutes,
Minutes from, what are the dates?
last time we met.
That's it, we're up to date on the other
I
minutes?
thought we were. Maybe I missed some. Oh wait, we're down 2 because last minute we had some issue. Didn't we have an issue?
Printer,
Yeah, we had a technical issue.
We had a technical issue.
We'll get it taken care of.
you want to come back to that?
Yeah. we'll
Come back to that.
Yep.
Amanda, are there any bills to pay?
Financial accounts. This is for Wenda. Would you like to take a look?
Didn't we already?
I think that's the approved one for Wenda.
Oh, that's
Okay.
for payment of the,
Yeah.
the book?
And then, I think everything else
Oh, that's
looks-
everything else, is
Just our
just the
financials.
financials. The regular financials are in here. So there isn't anything except for the one thing for Wenda. And it's sealed for her.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No bills to pay then. And you just went over the financials, we do have the updated quarterlies.
Yes, I got 1/7/2019 here, so I got the newest one.
Okay.
It's in the folder.
In the red or the black?
I
think we're still black.
I think we're still black.
We're on a negative scale right now.
Well, it looks like we're spending,
Right, that's probably for the fourth bond.
it is, it's consultant fees.
Yeah, we have an item for discussion later.
Yeah, we've got some consultant stuff going on.
Okay, so item number 5 is done. Letter from treasurer, I have no idea what that is. It's on every week. Can Kathy elaborate on that? Are they looking for a letter from us?
I thought that was regarding
That was next
the
down.
gravel permits that we
Well, that might
hadn't
be
done
the gravel
them.
permits,
No.
you're
So they
right.
sent us a letter that if we didn't do
That's
them,
not-
that's not it?
no,
That's not a treasurer letter, that's a different letter.
Oh, okay.
I think that's next down.
If we could ask Kathy what that's about,
Okay.
if it's a letter from the town treasurer, if it's from our treasurer, which we don't have one.
No, it's Nally, it's from Nally.
Okay, so it's from Mr. Nally. Item number 7, approve renewal 2018-2019 gravel permits.
The only one we got done was Andres, but I don't have the paperwork to sign on it. So I don't know.
Where's the paperwork now?
It's not here.
That's what we were
We
looking
can't
for
find
last time.
Someone has the papers and they
I
took
don't
them.
have it.
Well, none of us took them.
Wanda said that she gave it to me, but I've been looking everywhere and I haven't seen them. I don't remember
It
taking
would have been
them.
in that.
It would,
I thought it was in one of the larger folders. It might be in that folder.
so, yeah, but the only one I was able to get done was
And
Andres.
you said it looked good.
It
Was there
did.
anyone else there with you?
Linda.
Linda.
Wanda and I both agreed. And I did,
Okay.
and I called, I think it's Ted Andrick, and left a message letting him know that we're just waiting for paperwork to sign, that it was fine. It really was. It's just, you
I
can,
guess in the minutes, if you want to put down, Amanda, that we did visit
That's what I would do.
the Andrix gravel pit.
So we still have Orland and Rocky.
yep.
Mr. Naraki's here in the audience right now.
So, well, we have to get to this. The weather's been pretty brutal.
So I don't know if you guys want to, Mr. Naraki, did you get your gravel permit yet?
And they need it.
Did you want to set up, well, I'm going to recuse myself on that too.
Yeah, someone usually calls and sets up a appointment up.
Are you here for that tonight?
No,
Okay, something else.
Something else.
just a coincidence.
Okay,
Yeah, well, we just have to
so
look
at
at
some point in the near future, you're going to have to walk the site with one of our commissioners.
That's fine.
it.
Just give me a buzz.
Okay.
Well, that's what we did. We just called and buzzed, and they sent someone to show us where to look, and
Yeah, what
told us where not
you
to walk
worked.
so we wouldn't get hit. And that was fine.
Just the areas you've been working, that's it. So before you leave, if you can give one of us your phone number. Thank you.
Rain was cold.
And same thing with Greg Orland, somebody will reach out to Greg.
Yeah.
Outreach education, plant of the week, nothing.
We've got MACC on the 2nd of March, if you're interested. Anyone interested?
I signed up today.
Okay, I'm gonna go, Amanda's gonna go. You gonna go, Ed, this year?
Probably not.
Patty?
I don't think
Wendy usually goes.
It's too many hills to climb.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all up there.
They do have that little shuttle bus though for us older folks.
Any notice in ZBA's planning board?
I don't think there's any, is that,
Take a-
Big folder.
take a review?
I think there's a planning board / selectmen's vote coming up on the 4th of February.
Yeah,
I worked on that with Lou Berry. I actually authored part of that, so I have no problem with
is that the open space that they
Yeah.
want all the
Yeah.
committees to
Yeah.
partake in?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. If
And
you guys
Mr.
wanna
Joyce
do it,
had
that's fine.
talked to me about that
Yeah,
earlier.
that's
All right.
fine.
So you'll take care of that on the conservation side? You're looking for
Yeah.
anything as
Yeah.
far as potential issues in the future? I have a letter here from MA, Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissions, dated January 11th, 2019. It's regarding the conference on March 2nd, 2019. So here's the programs, sign-in sheet, if you will.
Yeah, I'll look at the programs.
I think we read this in last time. It's a letter dated December 10th, 2019.
We did.
Order to prepare an emergency action plan for significant hazard potential dams. And Forge Pond has been flagged as significant hazard. And we read this in last time. And could this be forwarded? I think I verbally told Mr. Joyce about this. And we need to forward this to the selectmen, so
I think we said that last time.
we did.
Yeah.
It's Forge Pond Dam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Leonard's been sending out correspondence to everybody.
Do you want to put a sticky on it?
Yeah.
Do you want a sticky? That way we... Actually, just put a sticky that we read it. That way we know if we see it again in the folder, it's all set. And I'll know that. I see a blue sticky, I'll be like, we already went through that.
What's today, 22nd?
22nd. First day of my new job.
So just put that in the Kathy folder and get that to the selectmen.
Okay,
The rest of the stuff we've initialized. This was read in last week for the Mackenzies.
You know, Brian Hochschild and I met this past Wednesday, and we signed off.
Signed off on 61A.
Yep.
In case you didn't see the small one.
All this stuff is old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It was all read in last time.
okay.
The enforcement order was delivered, I understand,
For,
Kearsarge Solar.
we sent that out last week. I mean,
Yeah.
Sent out last
yeah.
week.
Registered or certified mail?
Yeah.
We don't have a receipt anywhere? We should
Well,
have-
that's what I
Kathy
was,
would
that's
have
what I
that.
was wondering.
Okay.
We should probably
Well, she usually
have
sends a
that.
photocopy.
Yeah, that's
She
what I
does.
mean.
We can ask about the enforcement order.
Okay.
That's the 7:30.
Yep.
7:30, appointments for public hearings. At 7:30, we have a notice of intent filed by CPV Red Rock Solar LLC, applicant JNL Properties LLC, owner, for a proposed installation of 4.4 megawatt ground-mounted solar photovoltaic system with regards to property located at 11 Lyons Street, known as map 17A-39, 17A-40, and 17A-41.1 in the town of Granby. Is the applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Please come up and, do you need any easels
We're
or?
gonna use our body, swap back and forth, too easy.
Sure. You don't have that on PDF, do you? Was that sent to us earlier in PDF?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you want to go through that TV, or do you want just to let them?
Let them just do that, it's probably not easy. Now, just one question. You guys, what's the status of your app with Ludlow?
We have had one public hearing with the Ludlow Conservation Commission and a site visit, and as the commission is aware, GZA is peer reviewing both of them, so we haven't heard back from GZA, so we continued until the Ludlow Commission's first February meeting.
Okay. There were a couple of technical issues that I picked up, but we can get into them. So go ahead, introduce yourselves and fire away.
Sure. I'm Brian Angus with Time Bond.
Robert Asher with Septic. Brian Huntley with Time Bond.
So I think, as was mentioned, this is a solar project that is proposed both in Granby and Ludlow. We are before the Ludlow Conservation Commission and Ludlow Planning Board as well. We're here tonight to present the Granby portion of the project.
I'm going to recuse myself. Mr. Naraki, I worked with him on a project in Chicopee, so I don't want to have any issues of conflict of interest.
And three votes will.
That'll be fine.
That's
That'll be
correct.
quorum. We have quorum.
I should just go home.
So I'll let Rob from CPV Red Rock just present himself as the applicant a little bit, and then Brian and I can get into the project.
Thank you, good evening, thanks for having us. My name is Robert Mastry, I'm with Competitive Power Ventures. I'm a director of development. I've been with the company 11 years this April, so been with the company a long time. Just to tell you a little bit about CPV, we're a power generation development and asset management company. We have an office in Braintree, Massachusetts. We've developed almost 800 megawatts of wind and 5,600 megawatts of natural gas combined cycle projects. We also are one of the biggest asset managers in the country, managing 9,000 megawatts of both generation that we own and that other people hire us to run for them. We're developing several solar projects in Massachusetts, and we tell you a little bit why we selected this site. It's an already disturbed site, being an active sand and gravel operation, and we thought it was a good site to repurpose into a solar generation use. It also is going to require limited tree clearing and has a lot of buffer, which should make it low impact to the surrounding community. So Time Bond being our engineering consultant, I'll turn it over to them to take you through the particulars.
Sure. So, and if folks in the audience can see as well, the site is, this is super handy. It's comprised of 4 abutting parcels off Lyons Street, Granby Ludlow line. Here, access to the site is through the main access to Jim's operation off Lion Street, comes in through here. The solar project as proposed, the portion in Granby is shown here. The majority of the project is in Ludlow with access from Granby. Just to get to the punchline highlights first, this is a buffer zone project only. We have impacts in the outer 50-foot buffer zone only. And as was mentioned again, we will be working with GZA as the peer reviewer, and we're in receipt of comments from Mark Stinson, as I'm sure the commission has seen. Similar comments issued to both commissions, and we can certainly discuss those tonight, but our intent, or our plan really was to get into those with Dan a little bit, come up with a response, see what he wants to do, and then obviously report back. The wetlands at the site were delineated by Tyne Bond. In terms of resource areas in Granby, we have this large central BVW here. There is a flagged isolated wetland to the northwest of the BVW. This is a pond, obviously, with bank. There's an intermittent stream flowing out of the pond there, and also a flagged channel a little bit to the south.
Mark, question the status of that stream.
Sure, yep.
Of which I've done a little bit of stream stats. You guys have done some stream stats. We'll leave that up for discussion, but that was something that was flagged by Stinson.
Yep, so we've looked at we've all looked at the same data at this point. We acknowledge it's on the USGS topo. We acknowledge the historic aerials show it in a different location, and our delineation presents the results of what our wetland scientists saw out there in the field. So again, the project makes use of an existing access road, as Rob mentioned. The site, as you can see it, and folks may have been out there, we did do a site visit where Wenda and Amanda joined us on a very, and the Ludlow Commission on a very chilly morning. So you can see from the ortho that the site is fairly disturbed already. Not a lot of clearing of vegetation is required to accommodate the project. In Granby, there is about 48,000 square feet of clearing, and it's a little bit of the vegetation here, some of that vegetation in this area as well. Do you want to just talk a little bit about the project installation itself and stormwater, and then I can get back to buffer zone impact?
Sure, and from an installation point of view, this isn't really new anymore. I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of these projects even through the community already, but it's essentially a ground mount system. We are using a lot of Jim's existing infrastructure, meaning the access roads to get in. The site is gravel, so everything is pretty well maintained and as gravel, very well supported. Using the existing access road in, the racking will be a driven system, a ground mounted system, panels built on top of that, interconnection being through interconnection wiring. We're showing an equipment pad in this approximate location here. There's also an equipment pad drawn on the Ludlow side. There are two potential interconnection locations, and I think this is noted in the application as well. Depending on the utility, whether it goes from through the Granby utility grid or through.
Well, that's right. Eversource is to the south, and that's
exactly
to the north.
That's exactly right. So the applicant has submitted applications with both of those utilities. And depending on which one gets a better response, a quicker response, where we're able to interconnect, it will either interconnect.
It's usually National Grid.
Well,
may not be, but
it's a horse race here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but we've left the option open essentially for an interconnection either to the south or through the existing driveway, and an interconnection here on the Granby side either. And I think quickly from a stormwater point of view. The existing condition out here, as you're aware, is an open gravel pit. So there's very little vegetation in the areas that are operational. There is an area on the westerly side here that has been reclaimed, that is grassed, but the rest of the site here is essentially fairly open now. So the plan for this project will be to restore those areas with loam, vegetate them, and the vegetation will be managed as meadow, which essentially means it's mowed essentially twice per year. So it allows a little bit higher growth, so we're not talking about like a lawn or a green type of situation. It's a little bit longer, provides a little more uptake for transpiration of plants, as well as retention of water on the site. So from a purely stormwater point of view, we're only proposing a couple of concrete pads for equipment. The existing gravel access roads are already in place, and the existing impacted area will be converted to a vegetated area, so the runoff will actually reduce as construction of the project.
For a majority of the panels, how far below grade is the water table, seasonal high water table?
I don't know the answer to that. We didn't do any groundwater, depth testing. We didn't do any
Jim,
test
you can answer that.
It's probably maybe 8 to 10 feet.
Okay, so you've got more than 4 feet.
Okay.
Jim, you're going to keep your gravel operation going in Granby?
Yes, it will be moved. I have access now. In other words, right now the road comes in here, I'll just come this way.
Okay.
Or actually here.
Fair
So,
enough.
yes.
So CPV will permit, own, operate the system for the life of the project through, it's not a lease, an option agreement with Jim. So they are responsible for operations and maintenance of the solar facility and the land within the lease area, so including management of that meadow vegetation. The site will be fenced for electrical code purposes. There will be a 6-inch wildlife passage gap at the base of the fence. At the end of the project, through our permits with the planning board in both communities, CPB is obligated to decommission the facility.
You're gonna have to do a closure bond, or you self-bonded, or how's that work?
That's correct. Yeah, but there's a financial surety requirement in the...
Okay, that'll be handled by the select board and the planning board.
That's correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah, in Granby, we are seeking, it's a joint site plan approval special permit, and the Granby solar bylaw requires that surety. I think that is the extent. So again, buffer zone project only, and our drawings show the extent of buffer zone work in Granby. We have 37,600 square feet of work in the outer 50-foot buffer zone in Granby. Our application has a full stormwater management report in it, which also goes into detail about construction period, stormwater erosion. So we are showing erosion controls on our drawings, and understand and expect that they'll be inspected prior to construction, etc.
Are you providing on-site construction phase services?
We are not, and it's not something that we have seen typically required on non-landfill projects around here.
And the reason I ask is a previous solar project in town, they made a boo-boo, and now they are under the auspices of an EO.
Yep.
And we don't want that to happen again. So the commission is going to discuss this. We may require your on-site presence.
That's, there will be a SWIP, there will be post-storm inspections, etc. And if it's a, condition of the commission that there be inspections by an engineer, that just helps keep the site.
I would like to add, just for a frame of reference, that this is an existing gravel operation that is significantly impacted. Jim does an amazing job out here managing stormwater, managing runoff, but from what we see doing an awful lot of work on solar projects, the majority of the issues are during construction phase. On this project, because of the sands and gravels and because of the grading and the topography on the site, not that things can't go wrong, but we don't anticipate the kind of issues that you would see on a site that has a higher organic layer at the top that will give you a muddy condition or a runoff condition.
And a lot of clearing, and a lot of...
Have you selected contractors to actually do the work?
We have a solar consultant that's been giving us design services but we haven't signed a.
See, the problem is, if you end up bidding out the work, or the earthwork in particular, and they bid out to the low bidder, again, low bidders want to make money too, and cutting corners is a way to do that.
Well, they will be required to.
Well, again, that's one reason we like to see on-site presence. Okay, well, thank you very much. Any questions, ladies?
No.
Amanda? Any?
In regards to the permits for Mark Stinson, have you guys looked into proving that it's not a perennial stream?
It's a
Well,
perennial.
and just to clarify, I don't think, so yes, we've all, of course, reacted to that letter and poured over historic aerials and topos, I think.
Yeah, and I was out there, so like
yeah.
I saw, but I was curious from your investigation, I guess.
We do want to talk with GZA before we submit a formal response to both commissions and see what Dan's going to want to do with that.
Okay.
I do sort of stand by what I said earlier. Crazy, what layer did you just put on?
It's just the
Is that the 12,000?
USGS
Okay.
water bodies.
Yep. So our delineation, and it's, you know, it's noted in the NOI there, and you guys all, folks who were out in the field went and stood and looked at it. There is a channel here. We are noting flow between the central BBW and this area here, and then there's nothing in this area as well. So I think we don't have a formal response yet.
Okay.
Our plan
Just because
is
even
to-
looking at in your plans, it shows the stormwater flow and it seems to follow that path almost. So that was why I was curious.
Yeah,
What it
that
was.
is kind of the low corner, so that is where the stormwater flows on site.
Okay.
Our intent is we would typically provide a written response to Mark's comments to the commission.
Okay.
I'm trying to sort of reduce the number of scattered responses we give you, so I kind of want Dan's comments first, and
Yeah.
I want to give them all at
I think
once.
the
Have the
commission
full
will
answer.
independently talk to Dan as well.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. Only thing in your benefit, that upper pond that Mark had queried about, again, the stream stat shows the drainage area to be less than a half a square mile, which definitely works in your favor on that. But again, that's just the stream stats model. It may be accurate, it may not be accurate.
Yeah. I guess a question for, is there, I hadn't actually thought after that site visit that wasn't really officially your site visit. Do you guys?
That was not our site visit, no, that was
You
an
guys want to
incidental
do another
site.
site
Yeah,
visit?
we're gonna do another site visit, I
Okay.
trust. Again, I'm glad that we've got briefed on this morning, or this evening, but I think we'll be doing another site visit in the next several weeks.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, and I've been trying to coordinate with Dan to see when he wants to get out there, but haven't heard back.
When do you anticipate closing the hearing in Ludlow?
I think if we can resolve Mark's comments to their satisfaction in advance of their next hearing, which I believe is February, it's in the first week of, I think they're first and third Wednesdays. Does that sound right?
Thursday there. The 6th, February 6th.
February the 6th.
So they're a week before us.
So I'm not sure at this point whether we are going to, we're continued to the 6th. Obviously, we're hopeful that we can resolve these issues as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I'll be talking to Dan and Mark as well, so we'll come up with a game plan,
So
certainly.
I don't know if, to save you guys time, if they want to do the gravel pit at the same time.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We could do the gravel pit
them all at the same
and,
time.
that's exactly, well, that makes good sense, actually.
Yeah.
That makes great sense.
Two for the price.
So we'll get in contact with you, Jim. You can give maybe Patty or Amanda your phone number, and we'll get something set. Okay.
Any other questions we can answer at this time?
Only thing is, would you be willing to continue till the, yeah, let's continue the 12th of February. we may or may not have sufficient information in by then, but at least let's put that on the target. If need be, we can postpone that out another 2 weeks, okay? So all in favor of continuing?
Totally in favor.
Aye.
Or a second motion in favor? Yeah. We need more information anyway,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Who wants
but
these?
Thank you, yeah, we'll actually put that in. Brianna, thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Thanks, folks,
Put that in the
good to
folder
see you.
with the-
Which one?
Yeah, write down Jim's phone number,
Is this the project folder?
guys.
Yes.
Contact information.
Should we say 7:30 at the next meeting? That's the time this one was?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're first online anyway, we'll leave them there.
Yep.
Can Ed come back yet?
Yeah, he actually, it's funny, I just got a text message from him that I think he sent about 2 hours ago.
Oh,
Yeah, I got that.
Very timely.
One earlier.
Okay, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Jim, thank you.
So we need to, I was like, where's it?
Our next one was the Department of
This thing just
Conservation,
says
but I don't know if
connecting.
they're here again. It's the Glen Meadow. They haven't been here the last few times they've been.
I think, isn't the government still?
What?
Isn't that the one
Yeah.
with the wildlife and fisheries?
Yep, well, one of them,
One of them, right?
I think.
Well, anyway.
Okay, so we have a continued RDA filed by the Department of Conservation and Recreation to see whether the work depicted on plan referenced in subject to Wetlands Protection Act with regards to property located at Green Meadow Lane in the town of Granby. Is there anybody here for that RDA at this time? For Green Meadow Lane?
Nothing heard, we'll continue.
All right, I motion we continue. For a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now we have, continued at, see, am I on time? Yeah, on time. Continue for 7:45, an NOI filed, by Mike Pio, OPC Development LLC, proposed for the construction of a residential subdivision and associated stormwater management structres. The roadways will require wetland fill and open channel crossing with regards to the property located on Carver Street, known as map 16-B-15.4 and 16 in the town of Granby. Is there anyone here for that project at this time? No. All right, so I make a motion that we continue it to the next meeting.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right, so now I have lots of bodies here and nothing left on my agenda.
Well, we have next AMP, and we have West
Yep.
Street Solar.
Yep, so we have do we have anyone from Next Amp South Street Solar Project?
Yes.
Welcome aboard. You can come back now, it's safe. For now, maybe. Good evening, what do you have for us?
I know this is informal, would you like me to roll this down on the table, or would I can throw it on board, whatever you'd like?
Do you have a flash drive with the data in PDF format?
I do not. I was not aware that I was supposed to read this.
So, you know.
The plan readers are to my left.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you're making an amendment. I guess you're going with tracking units on one of the systems or something?
Yeah, it's not an amendment, we're just, I guess we were requested to come in, they've shifted some panels that are not in a buffer zone or resource area or riverfront or anything else. We requested just to come in and do an update on the plan. I think you've already filed with the planning board. I'm Brian Waterman, I'm the wetland specialist from Waterman Design. Julie Boschman from Next Amp. What I did is I printed the two current plans, which I have here in plan set. So the plan on top is the array that was approved under the current order of conditions. And then this is the new layout. So the portion of the array to the north towards East Street is essentially unchanged except the panels here, and I'll show you on the larger format in a second. These actually shifted away from the property line and to the south, like 5 feet. These essentially stayed the same. The biggie is a relocation of the panels.
Oh, so you are moving south of the access road then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are, so I think.
Access road has been moved too, but that's okay. Which is the one that's being proposed now?
This one.
This is the new one, this is the new one. Too bad we can't do an overlay.
Oh, yeah, I can see it's kind of.
Yeah, I have a bigger one underneath
Okay,
that
no,
has it
that's fine,
overlaid.
that's
I just wanted to kind of show you the overall site.
Yeah,
So this area that was approved actually moves out of the buffer zone. And then the rest of the panels are in the open field there.
Oh, wow.
What's this shaded area here?
That's the laydown, and it was approved on this one as well. That hasn't changed. That's just the
that's for
laydown
material
staging
storage,
area.
yeah, staging area for storage. And again, this is your riverfront area, I believe,
Yeah.
on that, so you're still well out of that then.
Right, so the riverfront, that
Yeah.
hasn't changed, the work
Yeah.
area that was in there, and this is still all part of the field that's used.
Yeah.
The 100-foot flood, the red is the 100-foot buffer zone. Okay, so the black dashed line, it represents the panels that are approved under the order. The red is the new layout, so you can see they shifted
Yeah,
slightly.
okay.
There's a little less work there. Here's the buffer zone, the black panels and the fence are currently approved. The red is now, so they've moved about 40 feet outside, so none of that work in that, the panels and the buffer zone there are happening. So there's actually a reduction in the buffer zone. The access drive in between the two wetland systems, still in the same place.
Now, is this road?
This is all the same except
The same.
it's slightly
Yes.
shifted
Okay.
north, so that's it.
Okay.
And then, like I said, here's, the purple line is the limit of flood based on the flood elevation. This is the amoeba from the zone B and the
Yeah,
line
yeah,
A2, so we're
yeah,
well outside of
yeah.
that, over 150 feet. So really, this essentially stays the same. The axis is still the same location, that's approved. There's actually a reduction in the buffer zone here, and the rest of the stuff is outside of any jurisdictional area. So.
And how about the site notes and, is it all this language the same? Or
Yeah, you have, I think you have a full set of plans.
Yeah, we do
And all the
somewhere.
same notes, yes, so it's just.
Okay, so I recommend we take a week to review this and bring them back on the next meeting, which is when, 12th of February?
Yes.
So,
So we're gonna be, at which time we would vote for the,
yeah, I would,
Yeah, it's,
This
it
is the plan change.
let's bring this back for a vote next.
was done under NOI.
Yes. And I don't think it's substantial enough to require a full amendment. Is that what you're seeking?
Right, it'd just be a
Yeah,
plan change,
yeah,
because
yeah.
really.
I don't think, if it was substantial change which affected resource areas, then we'd go for an amended NOI.
We actually have a reduction in buffer zone.
yeah,
Right.
saying it's a
Instead
reduction.
of
Yeah.
a major change
Yeah,
or
yeah, I hear you.
impact greater than what was approved, so.
Do you so put them officially on for a vote next
Yeah,
meeting?
so I
So
move
you're-
we continue this till next meeting.
Okay,
Could,
fine.
go ahead.
I just wanted to see if that's something that can be done administratively instead of vote at the next hearing.
I'd like a chance for the commission to review the new plan set in detail.
Okay.
Can we get a PDF file of that?
Yes,
Set?
yes, if we haven't sent it to you already, I will.
We have to actually include that in our local regulations, that everyone
What's that?
shall have to submit an electronic copy. I think that's good practice.
We can shoot one off.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so,
fine.
but we have a motion, so we have to.
Yeah, there's a
be-
motion.
yeah, So that was a motion. Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
All right, all in favor of
Aye.
placing it
So
on
we'll
the
see the 12th.
agenda? Yep,
That'll be what, February 12th?
February
Yes.
12th.
Okay, we'll shoot.
We're just
the,
shooting for the amendment.
Yeah. Just get it done.
Just get us a PDF, and I don't see any issues at this point.
Yeah, again, it won't be a formal
It's not, yeah,
DEP.
it's just a
It's
plan.
not an NOI amendment, it's a minor change subject to approval by the commission.
Plan change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Planning board's already approved?
What's that?
Has the planning board approved?
It has not, we're seeing that on the 28th.
Of
Okay.
February? Or this month? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
this month, okay.
okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
So
Thank
then we
you.
have the, wait, what time is it? Oh, I got 2 minutes to 8 o'clock for, is this discussion
That's okay.
solar farm at West Street, C. Dwyer?
They've asked for
Yeah,
continuation.
Dwyer's gonna continue.
Continue,
Yeah,
so
they
we're
couldn't
all
make it
set.
So do
tonight.
we want to just make a motion to continue?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so do you want me just to continue the discussion for the solar farm?
Yeah, because
Which
they
solar
sent us
farm?
an email saying they wouldn't
Okay.
be here today.
Which solar farm?
The next one,
west-
the 8 o'clock.
Next one, the 8 o'clock.
C. Dwyer.
This is Dwyer.
But are we-
Craig Dwyer is his
Are
name.
we discussing it or are we not?
We're moving to.
Moving it?
Yeah,
Well,
we
he's
know
not here.
nothing about it.
not
We
here.
continue until the 12th?
Yep.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So right now we have 7:59.
We have don't you have the RDA for,
It's not, that's what I'm saying, where is it listed?
Dwyer was at 8.
Do you see what
And
I'm
he's not
saying?
here.
Is it been posted?
for,
The hotel.
that's an RDA.
Right, but,
At the last meeting, we asked for continuation to this meeting.
right. And there's nothing.
It's not posted, but
It was not on the agenda.
Yeah.
I can see that, but
Yeah.
we did say at the last meeting, because it is an RDA, we have so many
Yes.
days to act on.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
It just wasn't here. Well, that's why I wanted to ask.
I know.
I was concerned because it wasn't on,
Well, we gave notice at the last meeting. that
Yeah,
it continued.
it's old business.
Yeah,
and
so-
It was omitted from the sheet, and I think we should still honor its,
I think,
its
yes. Well, that was what my concern was, because I saw them here and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
I was
it's-
like, hello?
Because it's an RDA.
Do we have the
certain
readout
time.
for it though, so we
Yep,
can do it
I'm gonna
officially?
just stick it up there right now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
No, that's all I needed was the.
To read it in?
Yeah, I want to read it in. And I was like, looking, I'm going, I see him, I'm like,
Gotta zoom in
What
on
are
it.
you here for?
well, no, I knew what you were here for, but I was counting heads and I went,
Why don't you come bigger?
official reading.
200%. Gotta read that.
200.
I can actually read
You can
it.
read that? I can read
I
it. too.
can.
So from our last
about
get-together
there?
with Mr. Brooks, what was the outcome of our last hearing for
Site
the,
visit.
the?
You want the site visit?
I did
Okay.
the site visit.
You did the
with
site?
Wes.
Let's,
I did the
let's
site.
All right, so
Patty
we'll,
read it in.
we'll discuss that then. Okay, good. So you guys did.
so it's a continuation, go ahead.
All right, so we have it right. Thank you. So we have we're gonna just pen it in for 8 o'clock for a continuation of the RDA filed by Yogi Patel to see whether the boundaries of the resource area depicted in plans and or map referenced are accurately delineated, to see whether the work depicted on the plan is referenced is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act with regards to the property located at 5 West State Street, known as map 3 A-12 in the town of Granby. You are now officially read in.
Thank you.
You are welcome for the patience on the clerical
So
error.
we have a few photographs to show you based on your site visit.
And it might be handy to call it up on the latest Google Earth as well. Thanks, Amanda.
You wanna grab a chair, go grab a chair, or you wanna stand? You wanna-
So Patty, why don't you give us the,
Low down.
yeah.
You want the
lowdown
skinny and the
site
skinny?
visit.
There was a six,
What date, what was the date that it was done?
oh gosh.
It was prior to the snow.
Day after?
Yes.
It was, I think the day after,
Yes, the day after we met.
day after we met. Can you get me one that doesn't have so much greenery and I'll show you, I could just quickly point and
Yeah.
do it in about a minute.
Yeah,
I just need a non-green.
Keep going back.
So I'm gonna zoom out a little bit.
April 2016 is a pretty good one.
Yeah, I just need it to be not green. It's easy once I do the not green.
There you go.
So upon the visit, the trees in the center were obviously removed. There was significant amount, because it's right here, there was the trees, this area were removed. The trees over here were removed. And if you see, you can't see it well, the foundation, the trees that were around the foundation were also removed. The stumps were all left in place. There was other ones that were removed on this side, but that's not a concern. And the chips were placed in the boundaries behind and filled. So the fill went all the way to the back behind, there's a foundation.
What was the approximate date of cutting the trees?
It was over the holidays-ish, but it was after that initial meeting, but it was all cleared. It's like they're all gone now.
Were the trees cut within 100 foot of the wetland?
Yes.
Yes,
Did you guys have an RDA for cutting the trees?
no. And the trees are a significant diameter. They were logging, so the stacks, the wood in the back, you could tell was for the purpose of milling it. And it was hardwood.
Were some of the trees in potential peril of the structure?
Yes.
Only the ones at the front right, where the structure was, are the ones that were, so if you look at where the new structure, sorry, those were the ones there and there weren't concerned.
Around the back.
But the ones in the back and the rear were all
Okay.
So,
Nothing to do with any structure.
All right, so how many trees
Oh, you
that
wanna
were
count?
cut? Yeah, approximately, how many trees were cut that need not have been cut due to potential peril to a building?
At least more than a dozen.
Okay, and what's the rough caliber at
You're talking, they were diameters of 2 feet in diameter.
so,
We're talking mature
Okay.
oak trees.
so if
More
they're-
than 2 feet.
if they're gonna do
in length.
if they're gonna do a restoration plan, they have to plant 2-foot diameter trees.
Though many of those trees were outside of the jurisdictional area.
yeah, or the trees, or any trees in the resource area, meaning riverfront area,
A lot of the trees are in here.
wetland,
No,
BBW.
right here, so there was, my concern wasn't the trees that were removed, obviously that were probably damaged from the fire. So I wasn't concerned with these. There were some that were knocked into this area here, but it's hard to say whether they were knocked on, like when and where. My concern was more the fact that there was an area here that was cleared, and it was literally, you could see the drop off and the fill went right.
Okay.
Right to the
Were there
edge.
any trees cut in the wetland?
There were trees that looked to be cut and fell, but not recently. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It-
they were.
So if the
They
trees
were-
were cut, they were buffer zone trees only?
Yes. But it was my concern was the amount of fill that was added into the area. Like the chips were literally stored and leveled and pushed in.
In the buffer zone.
Into
Okay.
it.
Okay, so as part of the permitting process, I think the applicant would agree to remediate that, right, Jeff?
Okay. Based on Patty's comments that day, we did get rid of many of the wood chips, and we have
Okay.
some photographs
Good.
to share with her.
That's wonderful. Because there's nothing you can do to replace the trees.
Is the clearing of the trees part of the overall project for the future? Or, I know you had some buildings you want to put in the back.
Yeah.
What we're doing today for this RDA is basically dealing with the old building that was burnt.
That's right.
Correct.
So we're not dealing with the future expansion. That's going to come back again to
Right.
us.
The tree was there because I was making the parking lots. It was not before.
Okay, so are you putting a parking lot in this RDA right now?
Around here.
But the question I have is the plan depicting a parking lot now? What you're filing shows a parking lot, shows the drainage, shows...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's gonna be new paving, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a building.
I thought it was just a building.
Oh,
Well, let's see what the plan's got.
let's see how many
Because what
square
we're
feet.
approving is basically
Yeah.
what he's
What we
filed.
submitted was just for the building. You know, a lot of this is all cleared in here anyway. And
What's behind the building now? Is it gravel?
here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you paving that?
Not all of them.
Not all of
Only
it?
like 6 or 7 car parking.
so you want to add parking for your customers, yeah, okay.
Which kind of makes sense because you don't want people parking on gravel.
Right, right.
But that
So that
is,
brings in stormwater management. It might be enough to trigger it, it might not be enough to trigger it.
are we responsible for that or is planning board?
We are.
Is this permit have to go before the planning board? That you know of?
You know, essentially, it's a replacing, rebuilding
Right.
the fire
But
damage.
it's new impervious, that's the problem. But again, I think this could be dealt with fairly easily with a couple of swales. But again, we're jumping the
Septic tank in
gun.
the back?
No, your
Scott?
sword there.
Yeah, 'cause so-
Your sword there.
The
This
septic
was
tank
the-
We
cover
have a
area.
septic vault, but we don't have.
That was the old
Yeah,
septic.
okay.
Like, so here's where all the clearing that was here. There was a cluster of trees here, a cluster of trees here, but then the rest of the trees were perimetering all the ruin in, right around here, and they also had removed trees along the border on the opposite side, which is not jurisdictional. But what the concern is if,
Chips are blowing that
well, the
way.
chips were actually blown originally right here. So I could walk out all the way, and so they literally were probably sitting on this line, if not over. It was really close because this existing structure was filled. There was fill here, and you could see where the stumps were because the wood was stored.
Yeah.
And the logs, because it was, it appears like, you know, they're taking them to mill them. And then we're not talking like little trees, we're talking like good
3 feet.
3 feet in diameter. These are beautiful. It's nice.
Well, that
straight
gets some
wood.
use out of them at least.
Well,
It's
that's
like
like-
firewood.
Were they white pines or red
Any of
pines?
them
Maple.
white pines.
White pine, and it looked like
Maybe some oak.
some oak.
Yeah.
Not red though, it looked white. I'm not sure.
Mr. Patel, is this concrete foundation serviceable? Are you gonna build a structure on top of it?
Nothing, not right now.
From what I thought you had in the
I just
past.
recently found it because when we bought this property, we don't know about that one. But when we clear a little bit, we found it.
Yeah, so.
It was overgrown.
Well, again, that's another reason to remove the trees. You want the tree, if you're gonna build a new storage building there, you don't want trees around.
Well, I think the foundation's probably been,
It's destroyed.
Well, that's what I was
You
asking.
can't
It's
use-
serviceable,
It's not
so it's not
serviceable.
serviceable?
No. It was, it's, you know, one of those hidden surprises you get on your properties in
Yeah,
Granby.
yeah.
There's a lot of those surprises.
I mean, I don't have an issue with replacing the building. I think that's a no-brainer.
I'm just wondering why you
improvement-
guys aren't coming, why didn't you do an integrated plan with your paving? Because this way you're doing things twice.
I understand.
So what you're saying, if he wants to pave, he's gonna come back
It's gotta
again?
come back
Yes.
again.
So we're gonna give him a permit just for the building, because we don't have any details on the pavement.
Well, that's right.
Or
That's
where it's gonna
exactly
go,
right.
or how much.
So I'm okay with looking at it as the building being replaced or restored. The plan doesn't depict any pavement. I don't think it's in your narrative, is it? Anything about pavement?
No.
Now, are we gonna permit any tree root removal, any
Well, that was the
de-stumping?
question,
That's-
that's the discussion that the commission needs to make, because in terms of here, there was, I think there was 3 or 4, and they were mostly, there were some larger ones, and then over here, there's some smaller ones, and you would have to do the proper, you'd have to remove them properly and pull them in order to, I think,
Pull
put the,
or chip?
oh no, you're gonna
Can't
yank
pull
those
it.
suckers.
These are big,
They're big.
big mothers.
And you're gonna have to make sure that the proper, you know, protections are there. And in terms of the ones in the back, I'm sorry, they gotta stay.
Back here?
What's the slope of the terrain? It's pretty steep.
It's pretty steep
So,
Back, yeah.
in the back.
so you're okay with pulling the stumps in this area, leave the stumps there for
Yep.
now?
Leave them, let them rot.
If he's gotta come back for a permit for a hotel?
He's gonna have to.
We'll talk about it then.
Right, because you're gonna be talking about removing an existing foundation. If you're gonna be building back here, he's gonna be removing existing foundation. There's not only the stumps, and then there's also, if you look at the terrain,
You're right.
there's some other, there'd be a significant amount of fill literally being placed
Sure. It
right
has
on
to-
that edge.
I think at this point, we'd be looking for an engineered drawing,
Yes,
not just, I mean, this here is pretty straightforward. You're placing in kind.
No, I thought you were putting a new little frost wall in the front,
He's
Kevin.
putting in a,
Little foyer or
It was a
something.
block wall before.
So
It's a
you're doing,
heating system.
you are doing some foundation work here then, correct?
yeah.
All right.
Which is why you'd have to remove, if you're doing foundation work, you're gonna have
course,
to
of
remove the
course,
stumps
of
in
course,
whole
of course.
and not bind them.
All right.
And he left them tall enough, they're tall enough to where you could take an excavator and do it without too much problem. And it wouldn't be a problem. There are in here some knocked over ones, but it's hard to say if they weren't knocked over when they had the fire. It's hard to say when they were done. They're all just,
They look old.
they're rotten.
Only thing I can suggest is,
Okay.
when we approve this, we ought to put the caveat in, does not include any site work, any paving, only,
the foundation.
The
only
foundation.
work on the foundation and restoring the building. That's
Yeah,
it.
What about the tree stumps? You want to?
Well, we gotta
include
discuss
that?
that's a whole
What
other
do you guys
thing.
wanna do?
That's a
Realistically,
lot.
they should probably file an NOI for that, but it's,
But it's
I think
still-
we can do it under an RDA.
It's
You
still,
can-
With some conditions.
You could do
It's
the
still-
ones in the perimeter of the building.
Talking probably 6, 7.
I think
Trees,
it's,
something like
and some of them are smaller.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
right.
clustered. So you're not looking at the big, the ones that are established are the ones in the rear of the property. And if you're not doing any development, let them rot.
And where's the water table up here? Is it down 10 feet?
Trying to remember that.
Well,
it's gotta be around 218.
well, yeah, find the
Yeah.
wetland line, so
Yeah,
217, yeah, 217, so
You're at
2725, 8 feet, yeah, okay,
And that's
so,
only going out.
so that means
It's not a
when
basement in there.
when you dig the stumps out, you're probably not gonna encounter the water table, which is actually good.
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
But they're gonna have to be careful with the slope.
Oh,
My-
and the spoils.
That's what I'm saying. I'm concerned about that because when you could see where they had done some of the stuff, I was like, I kind of just did that.
Under an RDA, do we have the authority to go back and inspect?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
We have some photographs for the wood chips that you want to
Thank
remove.
you. And they're gone.
Yes.
That's all I care about, that they're gone.
Yeah, Yogi, if you show it to Patty, that'd be good.
That makes me happy. See?
That's why we did it.
All right. Much. Yeah, see, they're out. And you had them trucked out?
No, he said after the storm, he's gonna come and pick up.
They did this
But they just.
15 minutes before the storm.
Awesome.
Okay.
No, but that was the amount, it was all.
It's pushed back.
Well, you have to understand, there's a lovely place that takes these for free down the street. I'm not gonna mention any names in public that I could walk to from there, so there's no reason why it can't be trucked off. But as soon as it's allowable, because the problem is we're gonna have rain and a lot of mess coming in tomorrow, and this is not.
Obviously, that's not landscape wood chips. You can't use that.
No, but they're easily recyclable down the road with one small trip, less than a mile, about a half a mile away, just in case you're not aware.
Mr. Lamoureux's?
No, we're talking about a place on East Street in South Hadley.
Oh.
And he takes them and then they send them for biofuel.
Oh.
And you dump them
I didn't know
in a
that.
wonderful little location. And I'm sure everybody
Mr.
knows.
Edge, I'm sure would like to know that.
Oh, I'm sure he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's
But-
on Miller Street,
No, right on
East Street.
Bernash.
Oh, okay.
Is it Bernash? No, it's yeah, Barnash. Barnash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Barnish.
Barnash. I can't say it right. But he's
It's
right there.
repurposed. It gets repurposed.
Biofuel, I believe.
That's
is
what it's
they
all
sell.
about.
So it's right down the street.
So right now, we're looking at,
Because once he
So
pulls
this
those
gonna be a
things-
-2 or a -3? If it's a -2, there's work in a resource area. If it's a -3, it's a buffer zone only.
It's buffer only, there's no resource
And where's your riverfront?
back. It's back a ways.
I thought we talked about that last time,
Yeah,
we're
it's-
outside.
No, even Wenda and I both,
You
we
agreed
talked.
that it's well out of play, okay.
It's, yeah,
Not even close.
that's not the issue. My concern was the buffer and the closeness to that.
Well,
And then the only thing to make sure is when they pull the stumps, that they have the appropriate, the fence
right,
along the bottom of the bank.
erosion.
Controls, and then they're gonna have to be very careful when they start doing that foundation. It's just gonna be
It's a delicate little project.
it's an annoying, I should say, I was gonna say annoying little project.
Yeah.
And to make sure that we stick with one project at a time, because my concern is I can appreciate clearing while you have the equipment there and the cost savings, which I can appreciate, but
Who's doing your work for you, your site work?
The tree cutter.
No, who's your
No, the
excavator? Who's your excavator?
Herbert Construction.
Haber Brothers? Haber?
Herbert.
In a like,
In South Hadley?
somewhere from.
Palmer.
Palmer or.
Oh, so it's not the Haber brothers?
No.
It's someone from out of town.
Yeah, Palmer.
Well,
Palmer,
gotta
okay.
keep an eye on it.
Oh,
oh, Hobart?
Yeah.
Oh,
let's take a look at the -2 and 3. What is it gonna be under? Is there a motion on the table to
Well, I
approve
think
the
it's
conditions?
-3 with some comments.
Are they enforceable? We
With
can,
with an EO, they're enforceable. See, that's the problem doing RDAs. We have to go to the EO, which is okay. We're used to it now.
I'm so tired of EOs.
so basically have them install the silt fence.
Yep.
Contact us 72 hours before you do any work.
Yep.
So
Remove
we
the
can
stumps for the
inspect this
next.
silt fence.
Yeah, you
and then
gotta do the
after-
excavator.
Exactly,
And then also, every other stump that's not pertaining to this project, leave
in place.
in place. Because once you do the permitting for the parking lot, obviously you'll move them at that point. But how should I say it? I would like to ensure that we're not permitting ahead and asking more permission, begging more.
Do you want them to mark each stump that's been cut with paint numerically? So when you go out there, say they got 20, it should be numbers 1 through 20 visible. If you go out there and number 15 and 16 are missing, you know they got rid of a couple. If you want to do that, that's a simple way to do it.
How long is a mark gonna last though, depending on the length of the projects?
Do you want to pick which stumps to be removed? And then, because this foundation for the old foundation's still there for the hotel, right? Oh, it's gone?
No,
It's gone. That's what I'm saying, it's
It's
The
a
only-
4-foot frost wall,
I
right?
think in theory, I think if you state, and I'm sure Kevin would agree, if we are only looking at the stumps that are right around here, because the stumps that are here should be left alone, the stumps that are in the rear. There's a cluster right here, and then there's a cluster here, and then there's a gap, and then there's a whole bunch more right this
Did you
way.
take detailed photos or wide angle photos of the?
It's hard to because of the size of, the problem is that once you stand on one, guess what? All you get is
All right,
a
so you-
stump.
Yeah, you need a wide angle lens.
You can't, and the problem is when you take the angle, they're already
Yeah,
cut.
yeah.
So guess what?
Yeah.
You can't see, you'll see the one,
Yeah.
but you won't see the ones behind.
Yeah.
Although I bet Kevin would be more than willing to do me a nice drawing of them.
You want to number them, Kev, and draw them, make a nice little sketch with numbers on them, and then take some nice,
Because photos won't work. Or I would have taken
oil-based
those.
spray paint and spray numbers on them.
Yeah, we can do
You
that.
can do that. 1 through,
Put them on the top.
1 through X.
Because if we have a schematic, we know which ones. The other ones need to be left alone. Mostly because they're on that border, especially when you do that foundation, you're gonna need a permit. Removing that foundation that they're gonna build in that back area, because
Well,
it's
that's a separate-
literally,
that's not
that's a
part of
separate
this.
issue. But I also don't wanna see, how do I say it, well, while we're here, do you want me to do? And that's my concern, is while you're here, I can save you money, and I'll do X, Y, and Z extra.
Well, there's a lot of work there to be done afterwards even, if you go to pull the other stumps.
Hauling those suckers out, they're not little. Those are some very, very, very big
And then
stumps.
material's gonna be brought back in.
Well, you're looking at a banking issue. Because they're all on, if you look at the property, it's been built up.
So if you remove the stumps, you're gonna lose the bank.
Well, that's the concern I have.
So where are the stumps going to be brought to for processing?
Well, I mean.
There used to be people
That's-
that ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because-
that's,
But again, you don't want them dumped somewhere in town.
no, you wouldn't. You would take them to,
Properly disposed of.
no, they're properly disposed of. You can go to Rocky Mountain, they take stumps.
Do they?
Yeah. They do it by the yard. You just put them per truck and you haul them off. You don't want to grind those. My major concern with grinding them is that it's going to cause problems building a foundation.
Oh, yeah, you'll have settlement as they decompose. of
And then the
course,
concern is
of
if you
course.
pull the ones in the back, because of the elevation of the property, and the fact that there's like if you walk down if you walk through the property to the back point, like the back point, what you'll see is that you can see the drop. So every one of those ones is literally sitting on a bank. So if you were to pull them, then you're actually gonna be eroding
Compromise the bank.
well, you're gonna compromise your own landing, because that property's been built up.
Well,
It's just a
are
weird
we,
property.
yeah. Shh. Are we approving the permit tonight, or are we gonna wanna have plans, or are we just do this as an inspection, notify 72 hours, paint the stumps? You can go out there and say, yeah, take this stump, leave that stump.
I'd approve it as a -3 with specific
With specific
conditions,
conditions.
including our site visits,
Is that a motion?
if you'd like it to be.
I second. Do we have all in favor? Aye. So it's just listing the conditions. As long as we have appropriate monitoring,
Yeah, I think this will fly.
it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's fine.
we can get this rolling.
Yeah.
Do we need this? Do you want to fill it out tonight, or you want to wait? I think you guys are looking to start tomorrow, are you?
Well, I don't think you're
They're
gonna.
anxious to get a building permit, so.
We gotta come back with your building permit. Do you have that?
We already paid for that. I don't know, he's waiting for the RDA report.
Well, maybe, man, did you have time to write that up? Is that okay?
Right now?
What's the conditions?
You said -3?
Yes,
Yeah.
if you could, please. In the meantime, maybe we can take Mr. Stover while she's typing that up. I think Bob had something. Bob, did you have an amendment? You had an amendment on something, didn't you?
No, the RDA for 120 North Street, septic repair.
Oh, that's that little tiny one.
Yeah.
Gets the,
Oh, that's right. It should have been.
I
also-
drove by that. I see what you mean. It was tight.
But as I'm saying, that was one of the ones that was supposed to be on,
On the agenda, it wasn't.
it isn't on the agenda.
So Kev, could you and Mr. Patel just sit down and we'll
It was
talk
supposed to be there because we
Come on
voted
up,
last
Bob.
week.
Yeah, we said we're gonna,
We're gonna go
ask
out
for
to
extension.
an extension.
Now, is this a continued, was this on
Yes.
last?
Yes,
okay,
it's
so-
RDA.
So continuation with Mr. Stover.
And we can't
Right,
read him in
Bob?
because he's not on the, he's not here.
Yeah, but it's a continue, it's old business continued.
Yeah.
Because as long as we opened it last time,
We did.
okay,
Yeah.
I think we can go forward with it
Yeah,
then.
so what do we got?
We're not gonna read that back in, right? We're just gonna let it
Okay.
go.
So we have been given a permit from the Board of Health, and hope that we can get a negative determination on the work. I described the boundary as pretty abrupt and clear at the bottom of the bank, and there's no options for the septic system, sadly. We have proposed a alternative technology for the leach field, which is the Presby Advanced Environmental Septic, and those are 1-foot diameter pipes that are wrapped in several layers of polyfibrous fabric. And so they've done a lot of testing, and the water that comes out of these is clean.
Yeah, I still wouldn't drink it.
Clean.
Well, this is,
and we do have a 5-foot water table separation.
Okay, and your well, I knew you had a well setback issue too, but I think.
Right, we're
Less than
closing in on 60 feet.
Okay.
on your property, the abutters, so you're more than 100 feet. On the abutting properties is more than 100 though. It's your property that you're
Right,
in violation.
Yeah, and
The
theoretically,
abutters,
and you're down gradient from the well, it appears,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
All right.
and the Board of Health has considered that extensively, and are requiring that water testing be done of this well after 90 days after it's been put into effect, and every 6 months for 2 years, I think it is.
Okay.
And we're going to excavate the old system, which is also pretty close to the wetland, and including the contaminated soil, so that if it came to pass that we did need to put in a new well there, that area would be cleaner than it is today.
Okay. Now, did we have your paperwork, Bob, your RDA paperwork?
should be over there.
If we could find your paperwork.
I have a copy of it.
Okay. It should be in one of the folders,
Well, I
Ed.
thought I had it out.
It should have been left out because we haven't gone.
No, I took it out and I was looking at it now and.
I can tell you all kind of stories with my folders. My folder once was left in the middle of Nantucket Island.
120?
And I got back to Granby, and fortunately, the folks I was working for were kind enough to do the same, so I appreciate that. Oh, here we are, Bob. And I guess you want a -3, is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. No, I've lost my folder many, many times.
It's like losing your mind.
Yes, well, it probably happens often too. Okay, site visit fee, you're looking for, yep, you're looking for a 1C.
And by the way, the homeowner, Tom Thomas, is here with us tonight.
Yes, yes, hi Tom, nice to meet you. Okay, anyway, here's the Form 1 for our action.
So it's worth depicted in a buffer, right, -3?
Yes, so I recommend a -3 on that one as well.
Are you motioning?
Yes.
Or do you want, wait, do we close discussion?
Yes, let's do so.
All right, so is there any more discussion?
No.
All right, so discussion is closed. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve this -3, subject to notification for silt fence inspection.
All right, I second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay,
So we gotta fill that
so we
one
got 2 projects done. Very
Poor
good.
Amanda.
Very good.
So,
Oh, did I spell it wrong?
will I receive a copy of the
Okay.
determination?
Sorry, I was reading it off
We
here.
can mail that to you, or we'll...
Okay.
That's your copy.
Oh, see, now he's walking away with the copy.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get rid of paperwork.
Don't do it, because then that's the one piece of paperwork you
No,
need.
that's okay.
Okay, so we have that one. We're gonna type that one up. What else?
Oh, okay. There's an extra R in there for some
It's up
reason.
to Tom and Greg Everson.
On the
It's
web.
not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
I wouldn't think so. Tomorrow doesn't look like a good day.
Or do you mind if we get this?
No, Greg can do some amazing things.
It's supposed to be really sloggy soon again. 50 degrees.
Yeah, temperature's gonna freezing, I think, overnight.
Great freezing overnight, and they said it, and Thursday would be up to 50 degrees.
It's a home run.
No,
okay with
no, that's a slog fest. That's a no work fest.
Last night, or the night before, it was -5, so.
I had my washing machine pipe freeze.
Did you?
And we went to do laundry, and it was frozen.
So we can fill this out at the next meeting, if that's okay? Or do you want,
I didn't hear you.
do you want us to fill this out now or at the next meeting?
Your convenience.
Okay, we'll
Careful
defer
with
this
that
till the
word.
next meeting.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have another gentleman in the crowd. Come on up if you have something for us.
Welcome.
My name is Josh Wilson. And showing up about the RDA we
Oh, this is the Eversource. Yes, okay.
we submitted it in November. Published on late November. The first reading was the 11th, but then we got a notice the 10th that you didn't have time to review it, so then it got deferred to the 8th. I showed up at the wrong location. I showed up at your actual office. so I'm here to follow up with a meeting for looking for.
Okay, Josh, have a seat.
Okay, so
Amanda, well, no, see, Amanda's tied up. Anyway, this is the transmission line cut through clearance.
Is this the pesticide?
Well, I think, are you doing some new lines?
This application is request for a negative determination for activity. We're doing work in the buffer zone for construction pads and access road.
Okay. So you're not putting up any new towers or lines or anything?
We are. We're replacing 2 towers.
Oh, you're replacing.
We're going to be a total of 12 towers in Granby all together, but 2 of them activities occurring within.
Okay, and what sort of foundations for the towers?
The towers are going to be either steel towers, I think, with concrete foundations.
Spread footings or piles?
I don't know the
okay.
But they were basically replaced within 15 feet of each.
Okay, and this is in the eastern part on the Belchertown line. Right. And I think Amanda and Casey and I think Wenda may have gone out to the same site a couple of years ago.
Okay.
This is not too far north from.
Maintenance, but it's still maintenance of the. It's allowable. It's
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I think we should do a site visit on this as well.
Was that it's a different RDA from last time?
Yes.
That does not fall under the previous one?
No. Different work. Josh, is it possible, well, with the snow, is it easily trekkable or is it not easily trekkable?
It is actually drivable.
Oh, so they plowed the road?
I don't know if they plowed the road, but the access road is really.
Oh, okay. May I see the map again, just to see how one would get there?
What's the start date for construction? Anticipated.
They're looking to start in April.
Okay.
To do the work. So I think that's they're looking at the work.
Yeah, see, actually, that's over 1,000 feet from 202.
How many feet?
It's over 1,000 feet.
Okay. So that would be as if we're going in, it would be that, you know, series of lines. I see them.
Yeah, right there. Right in the little box 34, I guess. Is it 34 and 33, Josh, that you're working, both boxes?
Yeah, so.
That's the Chickadee Sportsman's Club right here.
Yes, I'm saying, isn't that the
Sportsman's Club?
Sportsman's Club?
We actually are coming in from.
Oh, Carver Street.
We're coming in from Carver Rock Rimmon.
So there's Rock Rimmon.
And working our way this way.
Oh, that's a long haul.
And that's an
there's Turkey Hill.
Yeah,
there's an
look at the
existing
scale.
access road right now.
That's 1,000 feet, that's a long haul.
Oh, struggle.
And the pads are essentially the same pads that had been installed on, when they were installed.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the, what do you call those, the big?
Well, they're spread footings, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Well, the pads, the installation is the construction pads, the area for which
the timber crib, the timber crib.
They're actually not using timber cribbing.
they're not.
It's going to be a gravel
Oh, it is,
pad.
oh, okay, the gravel work pad, the work pad.
The work pad, exactly.
Permanent, though.
Okay.
It's a permanent work pad, right?
Oh, I see, the work pad.
What is this?
This is
BVW or is it?
This intermittent stream.
Okay.
Through here, BVW is adjacent to. And then they'll be probably top dressing and repairing the access road in these areas. The pads are going to go.
Yeah, again, I suggest we do a site visit, but this is probably gonna be a Saturday morning type site visit.
That's what I'm saying, I can't do
Yeah.
that during the week. I'm usually free after
Yeah.
11:30. If I'm not working with Tim right now, I have a little more availability.
So how, Josh, do you wanna be out there when we do the site visit?
Either way, whatever you prefer. I can.
How would you recommend we get there? Would you recommend we drive
The reason
here?
I could be out there
I'm
is.
totally screwed up. There's Forest Pond.
Yeah, I don't know where this is. This is on the Belchertown line.
Yeah, this is,
This is really up in the hills.
here's,
Marion Stewart's place is here. Kathy Lukaszik's house is here. This is
Al
way
French
behind.
is right here.
Yep, that's right.
I like how they can look at a topo and know.
This
That's
is,
scary, there's no
Well, it's all
property.
that military training, you know.
Barton.
Military?
Not Barton.
Oh, goodness.
This is that sportsman's club that we have issues over here on Chickadee
So
Street.
are there two? There's a second sportsman club down.
Yeah, that's Fairview.
Fairview.
Yes, yes.
This is that Chickadee.
But that's a very isolated area.
Yeah, the whole.
The high
thing is-
power range comes through there.
Right, right. That's a tough site to get to.
So the benefit of me coming is I have a truck and I can unlock the gate.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would make a lot of sense to rendezvous with you and
Yeah,
drive in with
that's
you. That
fine.
makes a lot of sense there.
Right now, I'm working Saturdays, so.
Yeah.
That's a tough site to get to.
Munsing Ridge is over here.
Oh, yeah, that's Kathy Lukaszik's and that's Stewart's place.
Look and know.
Because you kind of just know what maps are.
That's a new project, Munsing Ridge.
Ted, I've
is
been
going
reading
through.
maps since I was about 3 years old.
I read maps, but I don't read maps that good.
Yeah, you're probably,
Well, Eddie's even better than I am at reading maps.
probably come in with a vehicle, you have
Was just a truck with
yeah.
a seat.
You're not gonna walk that in an hour.
Are you kidding me? Look at the scale. It's like 2 miles in there.
But yeah, I can.
Might have to do a cardio fitness test before we put you out there.
Yeah, it's like a triathlete.
That's what I'm saying, are you
Do you
sure?
have
you want to do
a pickup truck or is it gonna be like a mule? Okay,
it? If I knew in advance, I
You
have
need a
my own. I have
bombardier
my
to get in there.
that's what I need.
four-wheel drive pickup truck.
You guys probably already did the maintenance on that section then.
We have it.
Okay.
I mean, if she wanted to pull up the aerial, we can show you.
Yeah, if you.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the
Yeah,
press
Amanda's-
ID information for this RDA.
Why don't we, okay.
Because it doesn't,
Actually, let me do it on this computer.
I could probably.
Yeah, I can do this on this. Hold on
So what do
one
we stick on?
second.
I need to get the personal information.
It's
It's not in there.
It's not in the,
It should be on there.
I didn't see it on there.
When we read it in, it was on that, you can get it right off the read-on, the read-in.
I'm trying,
Go
I'm waiting for it.
Oh,
It's processing.
Oh, did you log into the new,
Circle is gone, this is what it always
it's a pain.
does.
That- Mass GIS sometimes is really slow.
Yeah, but this is my
Go to
last
the Go to
option.
the Hampshire County Registry of Deeds, Mass Land Records.
Oh gosh, that's gonna take even longer.
You want me to take it?
Oh, no. I think there's like a personal, like
It wouldn't
every
take me that long,
single
it's just
internet
everyone wants me to
service,
do a
just at
million
this
things at
time just
once.
slows the service down on purpose. They're like, okay, everyone's home and all the kids are on the computer.
okay,
Let's
I'm
just-
connected now. Hold on. Stand.
Oh, wait, he's going, oh.
Yeah,
We'll go
okay.
under
We're all
search
set.
criteria, property search, type in 5.
Kathy said there's a new password.
Map ID and parcel.
West,
But the old one seems to continue to work.
3D
that's
is
the
the map,
tax.
Oh,
You're gonna need the,
and that's the parcel.
yeah, but you need
Why
the
did it-
deed reference too.
Well,
I don't think so. I don't think that was in here.
Okay, let's see where we are here.
Tax card's right there.
No, I saw that, because I was
Let's
looking
see,
on the
we are,
tax chart for it
Josh.
too. But I didn't see,
Yeah.
That's a typical.
That's what
a
you
typical
gave me?
pad would look like.
and
Okay.
this.
And so our access comes.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
see.
see that.
It's allowable because it's maintenance of an existing, it's allowable. I mean, the upgrade, is it because, now the question, are the upgrades for the towers because they are falling apart or because?
So these towers were
Read back
constructed
these.
in the mid-70s.
Okay.
And they're all wood structures that have a lot of rot
Okay,
and wood
okay.
wicker.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so is this your little swath here? Because here is 40.
Oh, you're at 202.
Yeah, there's
No, I'm
202.
just skipping all of that now. I didn't
North,
see
no,
it
you're
there, I
south
saw.
of 202.
North of 202. I mean, south of two.
Yeah,
South of- sorry, south of two,
yeah, so you're, I think
south
you're
of-
right here. I think this is your
Although
swamp.
I don't
Right,
know
so
what
your
all the
swamp.
special criteria are.
So you can see the pads,
Yeah, I
the
see it.
pads
I see
there.
it. Okay, so it's just.
Conditions, okay.
Well, you can't have those
Sorry.
coming down, you know.
Fence.
It's better to repair them than it is
The
to,
towers, you can see the towers.
right.
Notified planning board 72 hours.
So you do several a year or several a season, is that?
Their goal is the next 2 years to have completed replace all
You said
structures
48 hours?
on this line, which runs from Ludlow substation
Yes.
to Northfield substation.
Well, I've seen you guys working throughout a while, and those are,
Well, I see, falling off the Northfield Mountain.
Stump removal.
There's the road, okay, there you go. So what we would do is
We could drive the access
yeah,
road
and
to
then
a
we'd have,
point.
and then we'd have to
Limited
get out of the car.
it's limited to
Actually, we'd probably
Stump
drive up
removal
to here.
limited to,
I think keep rolling.
And then, yeah.
the perimeter of the new foundation. And make sure perimeter of the new foundation that, to be installed, the perimeter, that means the foundation itself, not the perimeter of the property.
Before we-
So it looks like we could probably drive.
Just making
from
sure.
here, and then we'd have to just probably hoof it down here.
It's, no, it's not spelled properly.
What are all these other little trails?
Um,
Yeah, it must be ATV.
Well, if there's a,
ATVs.
did you say there's a field plot through here?
Yeah, that's what it might be.
It might be there.
Yeah, that actually might be right. It might be. Okay, here's 202. Okay. So you don't think it would be easier to park on 202?
It's all
and
wetland,
walk in?
all through
Oh, it
here
is.
to
Oh,
cross
it is.
through there.
Oh, it is. Okay, I see the wood. Looks like something going on.
Yeah.
So the structures that we're going for are,
It's never good when women, and I agree.
that's the stream, one of the
That's when you
streams
know you're in trouble.
that comes, oh, where'd it go?
No, that was just bad and bad.
That's a shadow.
Nope, they're just closed.
It's a shadow. Right, let's go south.
It's something we can recover. Oh, until these trees close now.
So this stream, oh.
Oh, yeah, there's a
right there.
stream. Yeah,
This is
there's
the
a stream. Oh, I see it. Okay.
Where this stream is this stream here.
So you're going to, a temporary stream crossing?
Yep, there'll be a matted stream crossing
Okay.
through here,
It's the same as last time.
improve the gravel
Yep.
through
Yep.
here. This might be the same.
Actually,
In order, we accessed further north to replace some structures. Because if you go to the current mapping, you'll see that
we're having some technical issues. We'll fill it out later. We'll get it to you.
you'll
We'll
see
get
that
it to
further
you
north.
by the next meeting. Okay?
It's just not.
What's your nominal spacing between towers? How many feet?
I think
Let's get the
it
building
varies,
permit
but I
signed.
think it's
that
500,
was-
anywhere from 500 to
Also, you
750
know what,
feet.
you can always give me a call, like I work and I teach in the morning, so I'm usually home in the afternoons now.
Yeah, you can see all
I got
3
hired
lines
to
too.
teach at a
Right.
Christian school.
I'm gonna make a note on that, Bill, hold on. We're doing too many things here. Doing too many things.
Yeah, that's what all my husband's doing. Everything just shut down. Oh, sucks.
Good thing we have it televised.
It's televised.
Okay, I'm recording.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that's a
Let's
new
be
one.
out of
there.
here so we can do our minutes.
Okay, so I understand conceptually what you're trying to
It
do.
goes on YouTube or it goes on local?
Both.
Okay.
Be on YouTube and like.
It does go on YouTube? You put this on YouTube?
All things we shoot are on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
15.
Great fun. That's tremendous.
So don't worry about it, Amanda. We'll
I know
get
exactly
it
what
straight
to
down.
know.
Subject to,
Subject to conditions on the,
we got too many things going on here. Let's
we've lost
Bill for a
Bill.
second.
Yeah, go ahead. You guys go ahead. I'm working with Josh on this.
He's working.
We had too many things. Sorry about that, Josh.
That's all right.
I've got a building permit here for.
All right.
Street. I'm making motion that we sign it, subject to the conditions of the RDA,
Correct.
which the RDA, the building inspector, will need to see. before he gives you a final
But in the
permit.
meantime, they can start getting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, everybody, that's the motion.
Yeah, Greg Briggs is really good about following up and
Yes, he
following.
is.
Second.
He's really on the
Second.
ball.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Because as long as he knows that there's a condition there because of the foundation.
Yeah, he'll telephone me if there's any questions. That's
Yeah, he's not bashful about it.
No, Greg's good. Greg's good.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's out of the office right this
Order,
week.
what do we call this, order of conditions, or?
No, this is a,
Determination.
it's the,
Determination.
it's a negative, subject to the negative, it's a, what's it?
To Concom.
-3.
-3 determination.
Long day.
No, subject to Concom,
Special
special
conditions.
conditions.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just make sure you notify us before you break ground and,
Oh, don't worry, I can go walk over there anytime.
Patty would be a fine contact in the field.
Fabulous.
Number one on the run.
Number one on the running list, because I live right near there.
And you want all the stumps painted purple, right?
Any color that makes you happy.
I would number them. I would number them. Because then if one's missing, then you know it's missing.
You can take, the tapes too, and just take them.
If you number them, say, we need number 5.
Yeah. If they're big stumps, you can paint 5 on it,
That's right.
orange paint. Yeah, right on the top of the stump.
Thank you.
Very simple.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thanks again.
You know that.
What's that?
We like to keep you busy, keep you out of trouble.
Mr. Patel, good
Well, I'm
luck with your
glad to see you're
project. But if you want to do paving or some other site work,
Yes.
come and see us again, please. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we have to do a site visit so it's scheduled for that. That would be a Saturday one. We have 2 RDAs that have to be typed out.
Yes.
Yes.
No, we have to arrange for Josh's site visit, so.
Yeah, that's why I was saying the start date or anticipated, so we have get you
Right, I think they're
all
we're trying to get as many as we can, ones that we can get done this year.
lined up.
Are you doing different towns? You're doing some in Ludlow as well
Yes,
now?
we have approvals, RDA approvals for Ludlow, we're filing an NOI. We have, let's see, I'm working up the line.
Amherst?
None near
Belchertown?
on this line, none Belchertown, because the line actually doesn't go into Belchertown. The work doesn't happen in Belchertown. Shutesbury, Montague, Wendell, Northfield, I'm missing Leverett. I can't remember, there's one in between there somewhere. Pelham. So we've got.
Do you have anything out orange?
So we have RDAs, this is actually the last
Pelham
RDA.
Commission is tough.
We need to, what's that?
Pelham Commission used to be pretty tough. I don't know if
They don't meet very often?
No. There's a couple of individuals on the commission that are pretty rigorous.
Keep you on your toes.
Okay, so weather permitting, we should probably look at a couple Saturdays.
So Josh, what I can do is, you and I have been communicating via email. Propose a date, send it to me, a couple of dates, and I'll flip it around to everybody, and whoever can show up, shows up. If not, whatever. But I'd like to get at least two people to go out there.
I mean, in terms of Saturdays, I can do this coming Saturday or the 2nd, which is.
The 2nd is the MACC conference,
That's right, we can't do
which
that.
I will be
then.
at, so I
No, wait,
can.
Okay,
the second of, is he talking 2nd of February though, not March?
Oh,
Yeah, he's
just
talking.
kidding. I was thinking it was in February.
I mean, the Super Bowl's the
I
next.
guess it's not.
Well, that's right, well, that's
Must
true.
be March.
As long as the Patriots
We'll be
win,
all- we'll
yeah.
be all set.
Yeah, because
Those are the dates, so let's talk about it.
pull some dates out, because we're gonna also.
Early
have to do-
morning,
I can be here,
are you coming from?
I'm coming actually from Connecticut,
Okay.
so it's about an hour for me, but that's
Really?
fine.
Okay.
Because we also have to do,
I show whatever.
yeah, we have about 2 or 3 other ones too.
That would be a good day for some of the other gravel pits, if the selectmen have not already voted on it.
They might have.
All right, so
just
we
need
have
to-
your email. You would be able
We'll
to
get some
communicate,
dates,
so let's
we'll spin
circulate
it
the
around and
date,
see.
and whoever responds.
I can't do this Saturday. I've got to go to the, got a commitment at the Big E Saturday. Train show.
I need prior notice, because I have to work Saturdays now.
Yeah, this Saturday's gonna be off, it's just too
quick.
close. Second.
Tentative second? That's like, you know,
Second,
make a
second,
tentatively
I wanna
plan.
talk about
Tentatively the second.
Yeah,
Continuation of the RDA. You have the authority to authorize a continuation of the RDA at this point? What's that?
Yes.
Okay, so we have permission to
Okay,
continue.
permission to continue, okay.
Thank you. Because I know it's been, I know you filed early.
Yeah, well, I feel badly that we're so disjointed in our facilities here in town that you went to the wrong, which other facility did you go to?
I went to the
I'm
one,
curious.
I think it's your office.
10B West State Street?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the.
That's the selectman's
Town.
office, that's the
Yeah.
selectman's office, yeah, okay, fair
Okay.
enough.
That's where our second.
We did meet there for a while,
I
about
know,
5 years
Well,
ago.
we've met everywhere.
Yes, we have. Kellogg Hall,
Kellogg
I've
Hall.
only met here.
we met at
Except for the police
Aldridge
station.
Hall
Hall.
before it was demoed,
Yep,
then 10B,
yep.
and now here.
Well, do we want to set up a tentative time for February the 2nd?
Let's do that, so it's a
And then
week
if,
from Saturday?
you know,
If it-
yeah,
if it
and then
falls
if
through, it
things
falls
change,
through.
we'll just.
That's a
we'll
good
cancel
idea.
it, But at least
Yeah.
if
So a
we
week from this coming Saturday,
make a day
tentatively.
with the time.
What do you want to do, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? Maybe 9 o'clock.
Maybe 9 if he's driving
9 would be
now.
better. We'll meet at Carver Street and the power line crossing.
There's a parking area, I think. in
I
the
think there's a little
general
place you could
area.
park, yeah.
Yeah.
I always put that on my
You can put your
calendar.
vehicle there.
I'll just bring my pickup truck.
Yeah, it's easy to get to.
I think last time they were redoing like the footing of it or something like that.
What's the time in the morning?
9
9 o'clock. And with some luck,
Weather permitting.
with some luck, we'll be out of there by 11.
If the weather changes,
Yeah.
Or if for some reason everyone cancels.
Bill, you send an email? Or
I will.
Josh?
Yeah, we'll
Got it.
communicate back and forth. Very good.
All right, it's in there.
Josh, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Good to meet you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, all the best. Thank you.
So,
Okay, back to, I guess we're pretty much all set, caught up with everything.
Just about done,
except we
huh?
do have the conservation fee amendments.
Oh, we do have
It
that.
is there.
8:15.
That actually got on the agenda.
All right, well,
Yeah.
let's open the discussion.
All right.
We have not had any modification to the amendments since at least 2008.
Yeah, we were at Aldridge Hall when we did it last time.
Yeah.
I remember because we had to craft the original.
Okay, that was the original,
Yep, we had to
okay.
craft the original, so we have not made any changes since we did the original crafting.
It's been a
of
long
that
time.
document.
And again, our expenses have gone up, everyone's expenses have gone up. We don't want, our account seems to be on the decline, which is a problem. So I think to stay afloat, it would be prudent to adjust our fees. Now, the fee that I think is the fee that we invoke most often is the RDA fee.
Yeah.
And currently, I think it's 65.
Is it 65 or 75?
That's based on just the site visit.
Yeah, based on a site visit
Yeah.
only.
The permit itself is.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Well, they have their own fee for NOI. See, the problem is RDA fees typically have no fees. But we do invoke a $65 site visit fee.
So if you say a site visit's $100.
I would go to $100, good round number, it reflects 10 years of change and cost of living increases. I'd go to $100 for the RDA, which includes one site visit built in. I think that's fair.
Well, that would be better, because if you had a site visit alone and there was no need for an RDA, that counts for time and
That's
process.
right, that's
But
right.
if you have $100, then that's time and processing and then writing your forms.
That's right, I think that-
Because
that's
what you're
really
asking
fair.
us to do is just to take the time.
Well,
to
that's
write
right.
forms and
Well, that's right.
paperwork And clearly.
And I think we're gonna be authorized to have an assistant again, in a
will
limited
come out of
role.
our
Yeah, and again, yeah,
funds.
right, that's right. So, I think the $100, now, here's the question. Will this RDA fee include a site visit? How about if they do a site visit without an RDA? What are we gonna charge for that?
Well, that was the question. So like, if we do it without an RDA, because the concern is if we do a site visit, if you leave it at, like, let's say $75 to go out there, then it's $75. But then what you're basically saying is if you're doing a site visit and it ends in an RDA, then that's the question, like how do you, because we do visits just to approve, to see if something's applicable. So then that's my question, because then you can't lump it.
All right, so if we do, say we do 75 for a site visit.
Under a building permit?
Yeah, and then if it culminates with an RDA filing, they'll pay us an extra $25.
I mean, the other option too is to look at it and say every building permit we sign, just charge $25. And, you know, some you'll have to go visit, some you won't have to visit. But I don't know if we can do that, if you can just say.
Because you're changing policy, people will walk in the door and not know they have to pay.
Right. They'd have to be told up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think politically I don't think that's good politically.
No.
But again, if people are filing for an RDA, they realize there's a fair amount of work involved, as evidenced by Amanda typing away here. I think $100 for the RDA, including a built-in site visit, works.
Right.
Or we could do the RDA without the site visit at 100 and then charge 75 for a supplemental site visit, which would essentially bring it up to 175. That might be a little bit too steep.
That's too steep.
Well, you're going out for a second site visit for this RDA. Basically, you're gonna be out there 2 times.
Well, I think you have to charge.
But if we put in the order of conditions that we have to go look at a silt fence, I don't think.
You don't think you can charge them?
Well, I mean, if it's just to check the 48-hour silt fence, that should be built into the $100 thing.
That's
If we have to
built in.
actually go investigate, I think then it would be a different,
But how do
Yeah.
you say that?
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, it's about wording.
So how do you collect it? Do you collect it up front? You know? Because once they have the permit and you go out there and inspect, they're not
They're
gonna
not gonna wanna pay. Unless you say payment is due, I won't file it, we won't give you the form until you write the check.
Well, we could do that. If we file a Form 2 for an RDA, -3, we don't sign the -3 till we get the $100. It's real simple there.
So, I mean, in theory.
And if we do an RDA without a site visit, it's still $100 because we're going to spend time on the computer looking at remote mapping stuff. So there's going to be time expended either way.
We rarely do an RDA without a site visit.
Well, sometimes we might, but it would be quite rare.
It's typically a septic.
But I don't want to box us into the fact that we're collecting $100 and we're not doing a site visit. So it's our discretion whether or not we want to do the site visit or not. So we may grant an RDA approval without a site visit.
So then you're talking site visits would be, see, that's where, because I'm thinking of situations where we go and look and there is no RDA file and we can just, like today, we just looked at it, we did the visit, said, hey, and instead of filing, he decided it was cheaper to move the shed. And so that's a situation.
Well, did he pay the $75 for the site visit? This
Yeah.
Archambault, did he pay?
Did we get a check? I think he did that day. Remember he came in?
Oh, that's right, he did
No.
mention that. He did mention that. Okay, well, that's good
He
then.
came back because he came back with paperwork and a check.
Okay, well, that's fine, that's fair then, that's fair.
But I mean, if we're gonna go out to determine if they need, or, you know, if they're, because I mean, I hate to say it, it's, an RDA is a request for determination, and a site visit needs to be done as a part of that process.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of the best way to bill it out. That's what I'm just.
Well, that's what Ed's doing that right now.
Okay, visual, with the visual.
COC is 100, we realize that, that's in the books right now.
Right.
So let's go to 125,
Yeah.
150?
Yeah, the NOI is dictated by the state, we get the
Yeah.
half plus $25.
Right.
So
There's
that's,
nothing we can do
yeah,
on that.
nothing, we get paid okay on that.
So,
The only thing that we really do without any compensation for are the RDAs.
How much do we get for EOs?
Enforcement order, it's nothing.
yeah, it's on.
Well, technically, they should pay us a site visit fee to go out there and do the poking around.
But the concern is, if you look at the meetings in the last while, the majority of our time is spent on EOs and RDAs. And NOIs are actually really clean.
Yeah.
Because then most of the argument is, what's the EO gonna be? What is this gonna be? How many times are we gonna go back? And so every single time we're going back, we're just more and more and more, like an infinite amount of time. So, I mean, you could do it, my thought process, if you're doing EO, I'll be honest with you, if you do a site visit for something that's going on, you get paid. But if there's going to be continual monitoring and site visits, we're not paid for those, and we're still taking our time and coordinating things.
Right.
And my concern is that those become massive amounts of paperwork, massive.
So do you want to do $200 for an EO?
How do you, it's an enforcement, it's a penalty.
I know.
Because people aren't doing what they're supposed to do already.
But the problem is that's the major problem, is those, you can do site, every time we're out there, you can say.
How do you send them,
basically
it's a ticket.
Yeah, there's a legal issue with collecting a fee for an enforcement action. That's the problem. It's a much cleaner for us to collect the $100 for the yard. And the thing I was mentioning, the ratio of RDAs to any other of these permits is probably 10 to 1. 10 to 1. So
we're doing but it's a lot.
Let's get the $100 for the RDA, and we'll hopefully build up our bank account where we can afford to operate. That's the bottom.
Also, we could, if we word it as including a erosion and sediment control inspection 48 hours prior to work, if that was included in the $100, then we could have a separate one for like the other site visits that might happen.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Because we have them call us 48 hours in advance so that we can check out.
That's a good point.
That they put their things up.
That's a good point, because a lot of RDAs require an upfront site visit just to check delineation, and then the sediment control site visit,
because lots of times we look, we're like, oh yeah, just put up your silt fence or your wattles, and we'll check them, and then you're, you know.
I know other towns charge good money to those inspections, so maybe you're right. Maybe to do the RDA with the initial site visit would be 100, and then to do the silt fence inspection would be another fee.
Oh, I was saying the other way around. To have the silt fence be included with the RDA, because lots of times we don't have to go out to, like, we can look online and we're like, oh, you're not close. As long as you put up your.
If you want to do it that way, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
The other thing you guys have is the cost per linear foot of BBW.
No, that's riverfront area only. That's riverfront.
Charge?
That's riverfront, that's mandated by the state. That's a state fixed.
That's an NOI thing, right?
Yeah, but it's riverfront only. Riverfront area is charged by the lineal foot.
Well, I thought some towns were charging by the inspection. I'll check.
Yeah, check some other towns. But all I know is the state requires the applicant to pay per lineal foot for riverfront area delineation.
Right, but
BVW is not.
Permit,
yeah,
some towns were charging by an additional fee.
Wow.
Right, but if you do.
For peer reviews.
Well, peer review, they gotta pay.
But that's
already actually written into ours.
Yeah, peer review is automatically included.
Okay.
Because we have what do you call it,
It's a 50, that's the 353G account.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, I would say to get the most bang for the buck would be the $100 for the RDA, because that's the great majority of our permits.
But if you continue with if you stay with like the 75 for any site visit, and then once you see the word RDA, then you see $100, then it makes sense that $100 includes the fact that we're processing the paperwork and we're doing an additional.
Because those are required things. Having your erosion and sediment controls is required by state. It's a basic performance standard. And lots of times we just do drive-bys, just make sure that they put it up.
All right.
You know, it's not like a huge.
If we go for a site visit and that's the $65, then you have someone like the guy at Amherst Street who just moved the shed. And that's fair, you paid for the time, I'm not gonna be doing any paperwork and I'm fine. But then once you go here, you say, okay, then the second one, because then the hold is, we're not gonna give you the paper.
Until that's clear.
All right, why don't you guys then come up with a motion, something. Well, I think we're almost at the point, but come up with a succinct motion that.
So I think the first motion, there should be two. I'm not closing the discussion, I'm just considering wording. The first motion would be to change our site visit fee to $75. That's a separate issue. Just to say that the site visit is $75, that's separate. I think the other issue would be the wording that Amanda had, which is to say that we will be charging $100 for the processing, like for basically for the work that it takes, like the typing, paper, and that, because what they're actually.
Administrative fee.
Administrative fee.
That's what it is.
Plus the follow-up site visit.
Right, the erosion control site.
Because those are drive-by.
If required, comma, if required, because
required.
it might not be required on every project, so put comma, if required.
required.
If required.
Because
Are
if
you
you.
gonna change the price if it,
No, I would not do that.
Then
That
why
gets too
bother?
complicated. Just put if required, because someone might do an RDA and we'd not have to do a site visit, they're still gonna pay the $100.
But that's, we look at the filing, then we have, because right now what we're doing, and this is the concern administratively we have so that people in the town understand why, there's time to not only file it, place it in the right place, make sure it's labeled, like all the pieces and making sure the folders are complete, making sure all the paperwork gets to the right people, all that extra time. And then even if it is only a drive-by for the RDA, or like when I'm working at the hotel, like making sure the right trees, I mean, I'm going out there, it's not a site visit, I'm ensuring that things are taken care of in line with what we requested. As approved, so that, it's any visit as approved for anything, it's, it could be wherever it is, but.
then on the RDA, we go to like 125. We're spending a lot of time administratively, like Bill says, and, if we do get someone here to help us, administratively.
That will allow us to maintain our reserve.
Okay, I'll support 125. I'll support that.
Because the project is going to be a substantial project. For somebody to file an RDA, it's going to be either a septic repair, it's going to be building a new motel, it's going to be something pretty significant. It's not going to be a shed. Nobody's going to put a 12 by 12 shed and come in with an RDA.
That's a good point. They'll file under a building permit.
Swimming pool.
Yep.
Because most of the other site visits we do are to determine if they even, it's actually a courtesy to go visit to avoid the fee.
Yes.
Versus making them do all the filing.
Yes.
So we do actually a courtesy by saying, well, let's look at it first.
Under the building permit side?
It's a courtesy because, and
I
technically
agree.
speaking,
You're right there.
if you really want to hit
You're
it the
right.
way we should,
You're right.
no matter what, you should
Yeah.
say, file it and we'll figure it out later. But what we're willing to do is save on filing fees by looking first.
Okay, so we do the 125 for the RDA.
Yeah.
And we'll do the 75 for just a simple site visit with no, okay.
With nothing, if it
That's
determines.
fair. And they're gonna save them $50. That's
And
fair.
if it goes to the RDA, would you deduct the 75 off the 125? Or does it still become 125?
Ooh, that's actually fair to the taxpayer to deduct it
Because
from
they've
that
already
fee.
paid 75.
You've already paid 75 and then it would be deducted.
So
Right, make sure our language reflects that.
It'd be $50
It would be $50 additional
under the RDA.
on the RDA.
That would make it more reasonable for people instead of being like, oh, now it's 200.
Right.
you don't-
Like,
But the thing is-
Okay, Amanda's the English major, she
All right,
can write
you
that
think of
up.
the appropriate,
In the
first of all,
event-
I make a motion to raise the site visit fee to $75
Okay.
in reflection.
Why don't we vote on that one separately right now?
'Cause that's
Do
easy.
that.
The building permit,
Yep,
site visit?
site visit building permit, I think we need to raise our fees.
Okay, so moved.
So I motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we need the wording for the RDA, because that's a new change.
So you really can't say an RDA would be either be $50 to $125. Because if you said it was, in the event that a building permit site visit was initiated.
Right, and it turned into.
And the commission requested that the applicant file an RDA, then the $75 will be deducted from the 125.
Right, they pay an additional 50.
Right,
That's fair.
that's fair. But if someone comes in. Fresh,
It's 125.
it's 125 because then we would have to do, so when you're looking at, let's say, when they do the 202 and they come in with their RDA already in hand. It's 125 because at that moment, then we're doing the site visit we would have initially done because the courtesy.
And then the paperwork.
And then the paperwork afterward,
there.
because the courtesy to the town is that we'll look and see if you even need to first. which technically is not, it's nice that we do it, but the state says that's not our job. So the fact that we do basically a freebie, because we're doing if you really think about it, it's a, how do I say that? It's a...
No good deed goes unpunished, but...
Well, the thing is though, for the, because, well, you know what it is? It's saving paperwork. If we were a full, big, if we had an administrative body, it would just be automatic to file and then let it go. But the reality of it is that, I mean, how many pools have we looked at?
Quite a few.
Quite a few pools, and we've never made them file the RDA, and that's fine. And we've, because in the past, if you do it properly, you say just file and then we'll deal with you once you're there.
All right, so for pool inspection with a building permit only, what's the fee?
75?
If you do a site visit.
That's fair.
If we show up for a site,
All right. So if we do it online with digital mapping and we all conclude it's well away from any wetland and we just sign it, no fee,
good.
zero
No
fee.
fees.
But if we
You
say...
walk out that door.
The sooner I show up on a Saturday morning,
That's fair. Time is money. as
time
they
is
say.
money.
Time is money.
Because, you know, what you're asking
That's
is your
fair.
additional, what you're asking us to do at that point
Well,
is,
your expertise, that's what it is.
yeah, you're paying for, you're paying for me to determine if you need an RDA without you filing an RDA.
Right. Excellent point. Excellent.
Well, that's what they're paying for.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so, and then if you say $50 more, then all the $50 covers is the paperwork, the processing of paperwork,
And the potential.
to do a drive-by for a site.
Silt fence
What if they come
inspection.
in for an RDA and we want to go out and do a site visit?
That's
for-
$125.
Okay.
Because that includes the site visit and the processing, the paperwork, and the handling.
And then like the follow-up to see if
All
they
of it's
put their-
included,
okay.
yeah. Because, you know, what you're talking about, that would be like Route 202. When they came in, the RDA was already filed. And it was a, you know, a courtesy that we go through, but we're still going and looking and still doing all those other things. And so like, and we still had to file all the paperwork, and those were time. And they're time consuming. So you're doing an RDA and, yeah, you do the site visit and we get that, you know, that.
And again, all this money is not generated for, it's generated for
Well-
administrative in an operating budget for the Conservation Commission.
Well, the
We
whole-
don't get any monies for this, obviously.
But the hope is that we'll be able
It's true
to
volunteer.
afford to
Yeah,
hire
the people at home should recognize that. Personally, folks, we get zero out of this. This is to run this commission.
So I think administratively, and that would allow, well, the concern is that we don't have any other way to generate revenue, and over time, if we have someone administratively, we'll run out of money. We have funding to do other things in town that are required,
Correct.
Like pay for dam inspection.
like pay for dam
Well, the
inspections.
Yeah, that's well beyond our budget at this point. That is going to be.
Oh, well, dam repair.
Dam
We
repair.
were able to.
No,
take
I
money
mean,
off
even
for
the inspection, even the phase 1 inspections that Dave's been doing has been coming out of our budget.
I know.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is a different.
Well, no, phase 2 is, again, the phase 2 will tap us to zero immediately, so we can't do that.
Yeah, so
I
the
thought we already
problem,
voted on that.
They took money.
they took money.
Yeah, because we
They already
voted.
Oh, no,
every
that
time.
was the 99,000 that was appropriated 15 years ago for
Dufrane's
Dufrane's
dredging.
repair, that kind of just shifted. That was money we actually never had, that was just appropriated money. That really is
Well,
inconsequential.
it was in our.
It was on the sheet, on the cherry sheet. All right, so have we,
How do we, okay,
let's do this succinctly now.
so, okay, so the motion would be to begin charging $125 for an RDA and deducting $75 if we did an initial site visit before they filed.
No, deducting $50.
$50.
Yes.
No. Oh, wait, hold on, no, okay.
All right, let's reread that.
Reread
It would
that
be
again,
50.
okay.
Yeah.
Redo that, Pat.
Okay, wait, so what did we charge it? Okay, we're gonna go,
50 is fine. So, in the event that we had a building
Okay,
permit
so
site plan for
that
$75. that resulted in a required RDA.
it would be an additional
Additional
$50
$50 payable
to conservation.
conservation.
Or if someone comes in with an already
RDA, straight RDA.
It's
already
$125. Okay.
Patty, could you write that up in Word 2003 or earlier, a DOC file? And just send that, I want to get that in writing.
Do you want to, there was a motion, but do you want to put that off till the next meeting?
No, I think we should do it right now.
All right, because...
But I want to memorialize this in writing, even though we're doing this verbally. I think we want to memorialize this in writing as well.
Because the motion is
just
that...
update the 2011 version?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have the 2011 one.
Yes.
Up on the screen.
Oh.
Ah, there we go. So just... Jeez, it's been that long since we did it?
Yeah, 2011.
2011.
Whoever typed that up did a nice job.
Where does the time go?
You know what I used to tell my students this when I taught at the university. Every year that you're older, the next year is a smaller percentage of your life. So for instance, if you're 1 year old and a year goes by, that's
like forever.
That's 100%. That's 100%. That's 100%. But if you're 50 years old, 1 year is 2%. And if you're 100 years old, 1 year is 1%. So you can see which side of that graph I'm on.
So, let me see. So what we're gonna basically state is, well, and the easiest way to word it is that we're gonna charge $125 for any RDA, and we will,
reimburse.
In the event that,
no, because if they've, okay, so it's, no, but if you leave it as $125, what you would then say, if someone had a site visit and it results in an RDA, they only have to pay us an addition,
No, how about this?
No, that's so cumbersome.
RDA, total fee is $125.
Okay.
The $125 includes a $75 site visit and
for silt fence inspection.
And a $50 administrative fee.
Okay.
So so if they already had the site visit up here,
right?
You already told them the site visit was 75, so it's covered here and here.
Okay.
And then the 50 is administrative.
See, I'm still unclear. Is the site visit the silt fence inspection site visit or the upfront site visit?
The upfront.
Amanda.
Well, up front for the 75.
Yes.
Or 125, both.
Okay.
Or either.
I think we're boxed in at this point where for 125, people are getting 2 site visits plus administrative work.
You have to be careful though.
Which is okay with me. I don't mind.
They get administrative work the minute we do a site visit and we tell them whether they need to file.
Yeah.
So be careful. Because the only other option is to no longer do site visits unless they file an RDA.
Let's do this.
There's 2 ways about it.
RDA with site visits is 125. A site visit without an RDA is 75. Bingo, that's it. But you see what the kicker is there. The RDA with the site visits may include more than 1 site visit, but that's okay. So the single site visit for 75 is without an RDA and probably with a building permit issue.
Most of those are building permit issues where we can't determine on the screen.
Yeah.
The trick is if you really think about the governing body, the trick is we're technically doing RDAs for free.
Right.
And that's what people don't understand.
I agree.
And if you wanted to streamline it, you would just basically stop people at the door and say RDAs all the way, all the time.
125. Again, I think, let's make it simple. 125 RDA, site visit without RDA 75. That's it. Okay. And again, and we don't have to include this, but we can explain this. If they do the $75 site visit without the RDA, and then they upgrade, if you will, to use the local terminology, we upgrade to the RDA, it's an additional $50. It's like upgrading from a burger to a burger with cheese. All right?
Yeah, the wording is, you got your wording straight? Or motion?
I don't know.
What was your motion? You want to make a motion?
Do you think that is
Just leave it the way it is, 125 for an RDA and 75 for a site visit.
Okay, let's do that, real simple. Real simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can explain the nuances that we had just discussed.
Right, so then I'm gonna make a motion.
You've already, the 75's already there.
All right, it's already taken care of. So we're gonna vote that we're going to start charging 125 for RDAs.
Second. Is that the final motion?
And,
Yep,
we already did the other one. Okay, so 125 for an RDA, period.
Yep, period.
Okay, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
COCs?
Well, we're still at $100.
Still at $100.
The problem with the COCs, the certificate of compliance,
That's a lot of work.
that's a lot of work because it could be 20 years ago.
That's right.
And then that's,
And
Well, here's the
how-
interesting
lot
thing.
more involved.
Do you want to do this? A COC within the 3 years regulatory
Is
window
100.
is 100.
100.
And if it's past 3 years,
Go to
go to 150. And that'll at least motivate them to try to get it done within their
that's a good
prescribed
point.
window. That's a darn good
Well,
point.
the amount of research we've had to do on some of those
Oh, yeah.
ones.
ridiculous.
Oh, and then the amount of visits we have to do to figure out whatever was where and.
It could be 200 if it's past 3 years.
All right, let's
That
do
might
that.
be an even bigger motivator because these certificates of
They're supposed
compliance
to
should
legally
be
be
done.
All right, let's do that.
They're
You
not
want to do
doing it.
200? I'd support that. All right.
200?
I don't think we even have site visit on here.
For what?
As
It should
a
be.
listed thing.
It should be in there.
RDA, notice of intent, notice of research.
Anyway, I agree. So if it's
NOI,
within the 3-year regulatory
amendment.
window, it stays at 100. If it's
I think
beyond the
it actually
3-year
went
window, it goes to
under-
200. And that's fair.
It's a, yeah.
And it is, you know.
Munson Ridge,
Again-
some of those records you have to go through. It's
Oh, that's right.
ridiculous.
You're going on mass land records. You were digging 5, 6 levels deep into the system there.
And the property had been transferred 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
So was that a motion?
Well,
You guys were
I
just
make
talking about something else.
Yeah, word it the way we
Amanda's doing
described
something
it.
right now.
So you wanted to word that,
Amanda, you all set or? did you
I'm
just bring-
listening.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
Looking at other
A
things.
COC applied for within the 3-year
Regulatory.
DEP regulatory window shall stay at $100.
okay.
A COC sought after the 3-year window shall be $200.
Yeah, because they didn't follow the law.
Mucho work.
It's a lot of work after that.
Mucho trabajo,
Because,
as they say.
You know, I was on the commission 15 years ago.
You said $300?
200.
200.
So you want to save some money? Do it in 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense. Get
Oh,
it
the
done.
worst is when someone gets it and they realize they had a COC on their property and they didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
Oh, those are like,
Well, the lawyers are supposed to pick up a lot.
They do pick that up and the banks will not finance them. That's the problem. They don't like to see that stuff on the property, on the title.
so,
So
was that an official motion?
that was
Because I could second that.
second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Because that's the only other change, because you can't do anything with the other ones.
Okay.
But that actually makes it fair, because then what we're actually doing is that if you consider how much we're gonna pay someone for those hours, you're actually just basically having them, you're paying the billable hours to whoever we hire. for
Right,
these
okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Move to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.